Stand up, New York Giant fans. What is going on, Baddog?
What is going on, Up Tainah? What is going on, chat? How you all doing tonight? Thank you guys for being here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to pop this thing out in a minute because when I do it on StreamYard, pop out. There we go. When I do it on StreamYard, I like to look at us in real time, but the chat's never in real time. So I got to pop the chat out of YouTube Studio, move it over here, and now we should be good to go. What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for being here. I see Lake Norton in the house, Blue City Empire Sports, Jake Belanger, Google, Big Blue Jabroni, Moose in the house, Ty Jackson, Brock Kitchline, Christopher Hidalgo, King Brazzy, Jay Dimes, King Trizzy, Word 21, Udo. What's going on, everybody? Marjorie Simmons is in the house. Crispy, thank you all for being here.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? King Trizzy says Heat Nation. Yeah, congratulations. Another upset win for you guys. Big comeback. But yeah.
Because the team's winning it all.
Shout
out to Dire Giants fan, by the way, for the shirt. If he's
Dire Giants fan guy. That's a nice looking shirt. But yeah, obviously we got a lot to talk about. Recap last week's game between the Giants and the Steelers, and then we got a big game coming up this week against the Chicago Bears. And it's a big game. I looked it up before we went live. I think there's a 10, and this is based off the old playoff format. There's obviously 7 teams that make it instead of 6 now, so it's not quite as bad. But if you start 0-2, historically it's a 10.9% chance you make the playoffs. So figures more like 15% with 7 teams making. So not that we're thinking playoffs if we're being realistic, but you still want to have that possibility. You got some tough games coming up. This is a game that I think if we're looking at it, there's a decent chance the Giants can win this game against the Chicago Bears. So we got to springboard, take some positives from last week, and find a way to come out with a win, get to 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, you can't drop the 0-2. We've been 0-2 God knows how many times. I'm just sick and tired of being 0-2. I'm sick and tired of losing. I've just had it losing. I can't do this anymore. We've lost more than 75% of our games in the last 3 years. We're the worst team in football since 2016. It gets annoying after a while. It absolutely sucks. I'm sick and tired of losing. And, I'm just going to say this now. I'm just going to get this out of the way about the whole Daniel Jones thing, since some people agree with me, some people don't. And I know I saw that you mentioned something about doom and gloom in your thing earlier. And I know some people think that I'm doom and gloom. But I'm going to give you an insight on why I root for my team the way I do, right? It has to do with my upbringing. You got to understand, guys, I grew up in a different era. When I grew up, you didn't get trophies for participating. That wasn't it. Oh, you tried. Here's a trophy. That's not how it went. You either won and got a trophy or you lost and didn't get it. It was that simple. Yeah. So I'm very, very competitive, right? I want to win all the time. I want to win in anything I do. If I root for a team, I want to win. I get sick and tired of people making fun of us. I get sick and tired of being a speed bump. I get sick and tired of teams running over us. That's how I am as a person, too. My personality and my fandom is exactly the same. You're not going to run me over without a fight. You're not going to go up to me without a fight. I'm going to fight. I want my team to do the same thing. So I get ticked off when they lose. As far as Daniel Jones goes, he did some nice things in that game, and I understand that he played pretty well. And I know that I harped on the turnovers, but I'm going to give you an example as to why. This is a perfect example. I can't make this any more clear as far as this goes, okay? It's why I criticize for these turnovers, even though I did good things. Some of you guys in the chat will understand this better than others. Some of you guys have children. I have a 3-year-old. Everybody knows I have a 3-year-old. For the most part, little Baddog is very well behaved. He's very well mannered. Thank you, Daddy. Can I have some water, please? If I say, can you throw that away for me, buddy? He throws it away. He doesn't ask questions. 95% of the time, he's very well behaved. There's no doubt about it. 5% of the time, he doesn't listen, or he talks back, or sometimes he hits, and sometimes he whines, and you got to discipline him. So my thing with Daniel Jones is this: just because my son behaves 95% of the time, should I ignore the 5% of the time that he misbehaves? Because I say, well, because you behave 95% of the time, I'm going to overlook the 5% of the time you disobey. No. So if Daniel Jones plays 95% of the time, but he has 2 critical turnovers, you have got to point that out. Yeah. He has critical turnovers. I never said he played bad. I never said that he sucked. I never said I gave up on him. But those 2 turnovers were huge. A lot of people said to me, they're like, well, we were supposed to lose that game. He played against the Steelers. And I'm like, see, to me, that's just you're making excuses. Well, if you told me Saquon Barkley have 6 yards, we were supposed to lose anyway. Yeah, we were supposed to lose, but the fact of the matter is this: we're winning 10-3 in that game. We could have went up 17-16 in that game. It doesn't matter what should have happened before the game or what was predicted. When you're in the middle of a game and you have a chance to win, and that happens, I just have a tendency to point it out because that has to change. The positives should always stay positive. He's got to get better at those negative aspects. Those were huge. Those are critical at bad times. And again, I'm not killing Daniel Jones. I'm not saying he stinks. I'm not saying he's no good. I'm not saying I lost faith. I'm not saying tank for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I love Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, those were bad turnovers, but that's why I harp on it, because as much good as he did, those, to my opinion, those 2 turnovers cost us the game.
They were crucial. They were crucial. I'm going to let you get to that super chat, and then I'll talk
Don Jackson, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Brilly, my good man. By the way, Kim in Mexico is never around, but she got me his glass. Shout out to
That's
Kim.
awesome. That's awesome.
Maybe. He says, yo, what's up, Baddog and Chris? What are your guys' 3 keys to victory this Sunday for the Giants to beat these Bears? Let's get a win Sunday. They're probably exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, well, we talk about it every week, but I mean, against this team, first off, the offensive line, the pass protecting last week was solid. You know, I thought, you know, considering the opponent, they only gave 3 sacks. They gave Daniel Jones a pretty clean pocket throughout, but the run blocking was the worst I've ever seen, probably since I've been watching the team for an individual game. So that is by far the biggest key going into this game, in my opinion. You have to be not only. I'm not even going to talk about establishing the run because that goes without saying, but the run blocking has to be so much better. I'm not even saying it's got to be good. It's just got to be like mediocre to give Saquon Barkley an opportunity to be able to get some plus yardage. Like I'm not going to put anything on Barkley in terms of his running yards last week because he didn't have a chance. So that needs to improve for him to even have an opportunity to play well on Sunday against the Chicago Bears, because if you block like that, you've got no chance. So that is by far the biggest key. And I mean, it's the same thing. It's fundamental football. Don't turn the football over and create some turnovers. You're going up against the quarterback in Mitch Trubisky, who, he threw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter last week. Looked good doing it against the Detroit Lions, but he's not that good. He's a guy that's prone to turnovers. You got to get after him. We're a team that's going to send a lot of pressure. We saw it week 1. We're going to show a lot of different looks. We got to be able to create some turnovers. So win the turnover battle, establish the run, the same thing like you said that we say every week. And I want to see the Giants take more shots down the field. This week, I didn't get to see it, but I understand why. When you go back, look at the film, you think about the game, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are a team that gets after the quarterback real fast. That means you're going to have to get the ball out of your hand quickly. Hopefully the Giants could establish the run, which will give them more time to throw more balls down the field. So I'd like to see them try to take more deep shots, but it's the same thing, Beto. To me, the Bears are almost a carbon copy of the Steelers in the sense that they're a team that's built around the defense. Mm-hmm. They're going to be a challenge. Not quite as good as the Steelers defense, but they got some good pass rushers there. And we got to play mistake-free football. That's how we're going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I wanted to ask you, how much you think this was just really poor blocking, or do you think the blocking scheme was poor? Because to me, watching Nick Gates, who's never played center, trying to pull out and block Bud Dupree was not the way to go about this. If you're the New York Giants, to me, run blocking is simply this. Unless you're running counters or screens, don't pull your guys, don't pull your guards, don't pull your center. Helmet on helmet blocking. Just block. Helmet on helmet. Put that fullback in there. Let Saquon run. At some point, the Giants should have went some jumbo packages and tried to get Saquon Barkley going. Now, I have a lot of people, not just on YouTube, but in real, in person, like, what do you think of Jason Garrett's play calling? What do you think of Jason? I'm like, yeah, guys, it's been one game. I mean, I'm not going to get on Jason Garrett. I was, and you and I both said this during the live stream. Why are they never running left? Like, why do they keep running a backup in Cam Fleming? Why do they keep running? Bud Dupree kept coming free off that edge, but if you want to nullify a great pass rusher, you run at him. You don't run away from him. And you saw that with Lawrence Taylor. It was the most effective way to run against the Giants back in '86 was to run at LT, not away from him. Hold on one second. My wife.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. I forgot where I heard the stat, guys. I'll wait till you off the phone.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me go bring this phone to him. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. Right. But playing off of what Baddog said, and I'm sure Baddog's going to get to that super chat for you in a second, V-Man. But playing off of what Baddog said about the run, one thing that shocked me, I forgot where I heard the stat. The Giants only ran the ball one time to the left side the entire game. You're talking 16 total carries between Barkley and Deion Lewis. So 15 of them, I'm assuming, were to the right side, or I guess up the middle. They did not run to the left side at all, which is supposed to be the strength of this offensive line, obviously behind Hernandez and Andrew Thomas. So I was a bit surprised by that. And hopefully they change that going into week 2. And I definitely want to see more running out of the I formation. But thank you guys for being here. What's going on, D. Coop, man? I'll talk to you guys for a bit while I'm waiting for him to come back. The whole year will just be this, Google says. I mean, I don't know. We got to hope it gets better, man. I'm not going to – yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
V-Man, thanks for the super chat. Brilly Sanchez getting a homer and an RBI doubles in 2016. Oh, did he actually hit a home run tonight? How many freaking home runs did the Yankees hit tonight? Like 9?
The Yankees are killing it lately.
They hit
Yankees
5 in the 4th inning, which is crazy.
Yeah, Yankees are starting to hit their stride, no doubt about it. The Mets, well, we'll see. They made a nice comeback tonight. Let's see if they win the game against the Phillies. But, yeah, so I was saying, I forgot where I heard the stat. Somebody told me it. Might have been Mike Too Nice when I talked to him. I can't remember. But the Giants only ran once to the left side the entire game.
Yeah, I don't
I couldn't believe that stat, behind that left side. But to circle back to Daniel Jones, when I'm thinking doom and gloom, I'm not even talking about what you were saying. I think you're fair in your criticisms about the turnovers. It's the people on Twitter when I see them talking about, oh, we got to think about Justin Fields. We got to think about so-and-so. Daniel Jones isn't the answer. Daniel Jones sucks.
Right.
Guys, relax. Take everything into account. This guy, I'm not making excuses. I'm just being realistic. We went up against the Pittsburgh friggin' Steelers, and we had no time to prepare. They got Mike Tomlin, and overall, yes, you're right. 5% of the game, he was bad. But the 95% of the game, he was really good. And to me, when I factored everything in and really thought about it the day after, I thought he looked as good as I've ever seen him outside of that 5%, like you said. But some of the throws he was able to make, I didn't see him making those throws last year. He had a lot of zip on those throws.
I'm not a big PFF guy, but according to PFF, I think he had his highest rating ever.
82 or 3 or something like that.
Really high. And again, I kind of watched the game. I watched some film. One thing I'll say about, and this is why I was critical of him, because, like I said, people were like, we're the Steelers, they're the top 3 defense and blah, 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 all this stuff. But it didn't matter because we were in that game. We were beating that team. We beat the hell out of them in the first quarter. It's too bad they went down and scored that 2-minute drill. But other than that, the Giants dominated that first quarter.
Defense was great first half.
To me. So we played with those guys. So that's why I was critical, because I'm like, this is a game that we let get away, because in my opinion, I thought we played just as well as they did. But what I will say is this: there's a much different energy. That the feel of that team was way different. Even though we lost, and even though it ended up really being a blowout, I mean, we were down 26-10. But until his turnover near the goal line, there was just a different energy. It felt different. It ended up being the same thing, but I don't know. The watching that defensive passers, watching Leonard Williams play, watching Blake Martinez, watching Lorenzo Carter, seeing the energy these guys had.
Dexter Lawrence had a big sack.
They all played. Dalvin Tomlinson had some good moments too. So watching them, our secondary was kind of crappy, but you kind of expect that because, number one, the 3 guys are gone that should have been in there, and we have Corey Ballantyne out there, but there's a different energy about this team. I feel like Joe Judge does bring a different intensity with that team, and I do feel that if Daniel Jones doesn't turn it over, I really do think we win. And I definitely think that this game against Chicago is very winnable. They're not as good as Pittsburgh, and they were down 23-6 to the Lions. They did come back and win that game. But I think that we get after Trubisky the way we got after Rodgers, he's going to turn it over. And there's no way that the Bears, I know they have a pretty good defense, but they're not holding Saquon Barkley to 6 yards in the ground. It's not going to happen.
They just gave up almost 100 to Adrian Peterson, and it's not like the Lions have a great offensive line.
Right.
So I'm with you, man. I think I think there's a lot of encouraging things to take from it. Yeah, it sucks we lost the game, but you just said it. We went toe-to-toe with a team who I think is one of the top 10 teams in football. With no time to get anything together this offseason with 2 new systems. So I definitely think there were positives to take from this game. And you talk about the defense. The defense, I'll tell you what, man, one of the most impressive things of that game for me in terms of the defense was after we get stuffed at the 1.5 yard line, which they got to score there, right? But after they get stuffed, I think the old Giants that we've been watching the last 2 or 3 years, they fold, because the Steelers get all the momentum. As I'm watching that game, I'm like, Steelers are going to go right down the field. They're going to get 7. Giants got a 3 and out right back there to get the momentum right back to the New York Giants. I thought that was a critical part in that game that kept us in the game, and that was encouraging. The other thing I want to talk about, one of my subscribers brought up my comments in the post-game video. I keep talking about it. Joe Judge is all about discipline. We only committed 4 penalties in that game. One of them was intentional. So it was really 3 penalties for 20 yards. That's pretty good. So the Giants didn't beat themselves, and hopefully that pattern continues as well.
Yeah, and one of those obviously was on Evan Ingram, who had another terrible game. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Evan Ingram. Now, last year I said he was going to break out. This year I didn't know what to expect from him because, every year we sit here and talk about Evan Ingram and how, I'm thinking to myself, maybe you could have a big year with Jason Garrett and, just that offense. There's a lot of mismatches and everything else there. But to me, this guy's he's just not good. I mean, he doesn't do anything well. He doesn't catch anymore. He ran a bad route in the end zone. He didn't get up his breaks soon enough. He missed blocks. He's always been a bad blocker. And to me, I think Caden Smith is every bit as good offensively as Evan Ingram. To me, I'd put Toy Lolo in there and Caden Smith. I don't know what to do with Evan Ingram. I'm sick and tired of, the dude runs a 4.42. He's 6'2", 235. He's blah, blah. I don't care. He can't do anything. He's like Gary Sanchez to me. Like, Gary Sanchez hits the ball 600 feet. Yeah, when he makes contact with it. But he doesn't make contact with it most of the time. So Evan Ingram doesn't play well most of the time. He really doesn't do anything. It's just it's aggravating, but he doesn't. He does not do anything. I think Caden Smith is a better tight end than Evan Ingram. I really do.
I was talking, Rover called me today, actually. I was talking about the game with him, and we were talking about Evan Ingram, and you're spot on. And he's a guy that I'm trying to be optimistic about this year going into the year because I think the tight ends thrive. And, he's obviously a really talented tight end in terms of getting open, catching the ball, being a mismatch. But, yeah, he stood out. He was probably the worst player on the Giants this week outside of maybe some of the offensive linemen. But he was bad. But the thing that's really bad is when he's not making plays, he's a liability. He's bad. He hurts the team. He's a negative. Because the guy can't block. Like, at least if Caden Smith's not catching balls, at least he could block. So the fact that you have him out on the football field, if he's not making plays, he's really hurting the football team. So it's kind of like having a shortstop in baseball that's a horrible fielder. But he's got a good stick. He can hit 35, 40 home runs, but he goes through a month stretch where he doesn't hit at all. But so then you got the bad fielding, which is kind of like him with blocking, on top of the fact that he's not hitting for you. It's the same thing with Ingram. When he's not making plays out on the football field, he's hurting your team. And I'm with you. He's got to start making big plays. If not, you got to think long and hard about making Caden Smith the main tight end on this football team.
Yeah, it's disappointing because, again, he's got all the physical talent, but that doesn't always mean everything because pretty much everybody in the NFL has physical talent. They have physical gifts. But some guys like Jason Witten didn't have all those physical gifts, and he's one of the greatest tight ends ever because he was just played fundamental football. Ingram does not do that. Andrew Thomas. Talk about him in a second. Brilly, thank you for the super chat, man. He says, our defense is great, except for who was on Juju, Holmes, and Ballantyne. We also need a cornerback in the first round because Ballantyne is shit fondue. Yeah, the DeAndre Baker thing hurts. I don't know how good DeAndre Baker would have been this year, but it certainly wouldn't have put Ballantyne out in that situation. Of course, we have, Ryan Logan. Or Logan Ryan, I did that again. We have Logan Ryan, so I don't know what his plan is. I don't know how much he was on the field. He was only on the field a couple times.
I'm just laughing because I saw, and I agree with you. He didn't do much during the game. I saw Mr. A. Lewis. He says, "Entertainer, what's up with the generic background? You got to entertain us." So now, there you go. Now you got the piano background. Now I'm in my living room. So
there you go,
Mr. A. Lewis. Hopefully you like that a little bit more, Mr. A. Lewis. But yeah, Logan Ryan. All right, another guy that was really invisible to me. That didn't do anything, and a guy that a lot of Giants fans are really amped up about going into the season on the defensive side. I didn't call Shane Zimmerman as his name once that entire game. So I didn't hear anything about him. Fackrell looked like he got lost in coverage a few times. Martinez stood out. Martinez was all over the field. He had 12 tackles, but not even just on the stat sheet. He was visibly really involved in the game. I thought he did a really good job. Probably the best linebacking play we've seen in a New York Giants uniform in a really long time at the middle linebacker spot. I thought he played really well.
He did, and it is good to have a middle linebacker that's all over the field. Obviously he has to get used to the defense. He's gonna be the leader out there. I know Peppers is too, but you want your middle linebacker making all those plays and all the changes, the coverages, and everything else. So, I like what the Giants did in the first quarter, getting pressure on. We saw a lot of different blitzes, but then there was a couple of formations that were just kind of questionable. I just left the entire middle of the field open. I do know the one time that. Oh God, who was it that got burned? Oh man, number 27. I can't think of the guy's name.
Oh yeah, you talk 27. Oh, that's who's 27? He just took Baker's. It was the guy we just brought in.
Yes, I can't can't
oh man, why does it escape me right now? Somebody in the chat said.
Regardless, we came with an all-out blitz and didn't get there, and that was an easy touchdown. But that's going to happen. So honestly, that didn't even bother me that happened because they did go with an all blitz. You don't get there, you take that chance. But I did like that they tried to put pressure on him. But then sometimes there was just some really weird formations.
Yadam. Isaac Yadam.
Yadam. Yes, Yadam. They got him.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about just the weird blocking pattern. And the one time we saw the screen, it worked perfectly. We didn't see another screen the rest of the night. When they faked to the left, screened it back to the right, had Pittsburgh going one way, they flowed back the other. That was the counter that I was talking about earlier. During the game, you want those type of things. You want counter trays. You want some screens. You want things like that to kind of unbalance an aggressive defense to get the back on their heels a little bit. We didn't see it again. So we didn't see a lot of RPOs. It was kind of a vanilla playbook.
It was a lot, yeah, and and granted, I get it. You're going up against a team that's going to get the pass rush there very quick, so it's why it's hard to really evaluate this offensive play calling week one because it was such a challenging defensive opponent. But we didn't see any play action rollouts. I'd like to see that a lot more. Give Jones the ability to move out with his legs, try to create some time that way. I don't actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think there was one time where I saw him roll out. The one time he threw the pick, it was a rollout, but it was kind of more like a bootleg rollout in a way, right? He was
going the opposite.
Weak
side, his weak side. As well.
I don't think I remember a play where he was rolling with it the whole night. Maybe
once.
I
don't think he rolled to a strong side either. I do know that the one play action pass did result in a touchdown to Slayton.
Yeah.
Which, again, Darius Slayton was amazing. Again, he had 102 yards and a touchdown, and people keep saying he's not a number one receiver, but I'm telling you. He's a number one. He's going to be a number one receiver. I mean, he is freaking good. Darius Slayton is the real deal, man.
Darius Slayton, they on average last year in the 14 games after Minka Fitzpatrick got there, the Steelers surrendered 176 yards through the air per game. He alone had 102, and they gave up I think 17 passing touchdowns over those 14 games. He alone had 2. So that tells you how the guy played against a defense like that. If I had to guess, maybe 1 or 2 guys had over 100 yards against them last year, and he did it. So Darius Slayton played his ass off. He continues to show you that he's going to be a very good wide receiver in this league. He's got great chemistry with Daniel Jones, and I'm excited about him. He's one of the guys that I really thought fit this system really well. So he's off to a really good start.
Yeah, that's what's impressive. I mean, we had that with Eli and Odell Beckham. There's chemistry. You see Odell Beckham in Cleveland can't do anything, and now he wants out of there. Man, this is why I said 3 years ago, right after we lost to the Cowboys week 1 of 2017, I said the Giants should think about trading Odell Beckham because there was just nothing. There was not, and this, of course, he was hurt that week, but still, to me, as good as he wasn't helping us win football games, and I didn't want to give him that $19 million. And you see that Darius Slayton is putting up the same type of numbers that Odell Beckham did with Daniel Jones. So you don't need an Odell Beckham talent wide receiver. You just need a guy that has good rapport with his quarterback, and you can see a lot of they've had that chemistry because they worked together, in training camp last year. Eli was working with the first team, Daniel Jones working with the second team, which is why Daniel Jones is good with Caden Smith. It's the same thing.
Good point.
Well, that's one thing. I don't think Daniel Jones has a really good rapport with Evan Ingram because he didn't play with him a lot in preseason last year, and Evan Ingram was hurt a lot of the year. So you kind of get used to your guys in practice with the reps when you're the second team guy, and you get used to the second team guys. And then when guys get hurt, you got your second team guys in there, and they have good rapport with them. So I like Caden Smith a lot better than I just do. I think Caden Smith is every bit as good as Evan Ingram. I just think, as far as offensively, he's not as fast, but who cares? I mean, was Jason Witten fast? No. Yeah. But Jason Witten killed us.
Hey, I mean, our best tight ends, we say it all the time. Not our best tight ends, but the guys that we won Super Bowls with, we're not fleet of foot. I mean, you had Kevin Boss, you had Jake Ballard. I mean, those guys were kind of like Caden Smith. They were guys that could do a little bit of everything and good blockers, go out, catch a pass when needed, but they weren't running 4.4s. But you don't need that at the tight end spot. I'd much rather have a guy that could block. Yes, I know that Evan Ingram definitely presents a mismatch, but the guy can't stay on the field. And you saw it this week. You're starting to see defenses get linebackers that are athletic to take away players like Evan Ingram. You're starting to see it more and more. Steelers did a great job in coverage against them. They took him out of the game, and they forced Jones to throw to the wide receiver. So To me, Evan Ingram was a bad pick by Reese. I think most people agree with that at this point. And, I like him. I still think he's a good player, but the guy can't stay on the field, and his week 1 performance was horrible. So he better get it together this week, because we're going to need him if we're going to beat the Chicago Bears. We're going to have to be able to move the football through the air. I want to talk a bit about that, because I think the Bears are going, and I think any team, it's common sense, it's going to be to stop Barkley, but they're going to look at the film. They're going to try to do the same thing probably the Steelers did. And if I'm the Giants coming out, not only do I want to throw the ball, I want to try to stretch the field. I want to try to throw deep balls down the field, make them respect the deep passing game and Daniel Jones, and try to give Saquon Barkley and the offensive line a fighting chance when it comes to running the football. Plus, I got to see a lot more I formation. Didn't see enough of it at all week 1. So, but I want to see them take more shots down the field. I want to see them come out and really try to stretch that field on the first drive.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I think the Giants got to mix up their play calling a little bit. I think that they have to run the left. I don't know why. I still don't know why they didn't run the left. Why they kept running in between the guards. Nick Gates struggled. Like I said, pulling. You can't try to pull him against. But I just didn't understand that at all. And there was continuous jailbreaks. And to me, I don't really think that – I mean, the Steelers are a great defensive team. They got a great front seven. I don't know. It could not have just been how great their front seven is. I think there was a lot of confusion in the blocking schemes because they look lost. Like, you can't have – It's okay. I understand you get one individual effort where we saw some guys get beat clean. We saw Nick Gates get beat clean. We saw Cam Fleming get beat. We saw that a couple times. That happens once in a while, one-on-one. You can't constantly have 3 or 4 guys in the backfield untouched. Like, that to me is just saying something's wrong. You guys are confused in the blocking scheme. That to me spoke volumes. And I think they're more confused than lack of talent. I mean, Cam Fleming's not good. Let's face it. That he wasn't brought in here to start at right tackle. That was Nate Solder's job, but we're stuck with him. I mean, if this continues to be bad, maybe you move Gates over to right tackle and you put Jalapeno at center. Not that he was any good at center.
Jalapeo's not on the team.
No, it's not Jalapeno. I'm sorry, Spencer Pulley. I mean, maybe you try him at center. Maybe you play Nick Gates at right tackle. He played well there at the end of last year. I don't know. You could
do that, or you stick Parrott at the right tackle. That's your other option. But then you got 2 rookie tackles. I think Parrott's going to be in there sooner than later, though. I really do. You heard great things. You can't be worse is right. You heard great things throughout training camp. I'd be surprised if he's not in there by week 5, unless Fleming really wakes up. But based off his week 1 performance, not looking good. Everybody the offensive line just did bad. I mean, they were just getting blown up every play. And hopefully we get the running game established, because if we don't, it's gonna be a long day against the Chicago Bears. Barkley's the focal point of our offense. He's the guy who makes everybody else's job that much easier. And we'll see. I mean, that's the game plan going in. But in order to run, I do think they're going to have to establish the pass. I'm confident in Jones, though. Like I said, and maybe I'm wrong. I got to go back, I guess, and look at last year's tape. But just from watching the game, it just felt like Jones had more zip on his throws than last year. I felt like he was fitting the ball into really tight windows. There was 2 throws that really impressed me. One of them, I think it was a 3rd and 14 on his own 4 or 5. He was backed up in the end zone, and he threw it. I think it was like a cover 2, cover 3, whatever it was. It was his own coverage. He fit into a really tight window to Slayton. That throw, I was like, wow, because he put a lot of zip on that throw, fit into a really tight window. And then there was another throw.
Shepard.
Where he threw up the back foot.
Yep.
He threw up the back foot at a guy coming right at him. Couldn't step into the throw. It looked as if he was able to put all of his power into it. I'm looking at it, I'm saying, I don't know how anybody questions this guy's arm strength. This guy's got good arm strength. He's got guts. He made a lot of good throws. I was really impressed with a lot of the throws he made.
I think the fact that he got stronger in his base, that he added weight to his base, that's where your power is when you throw. You know this as a pitcher. You were a pitcher yourself. So you know that it's really the drive and torque in your hips. I mean, your arm strength obviously has something to do with that, but when you have a lot of drive in your legs, you throw harder.
Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with it. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Daniel Jones played really well. It's just, like I said, there's 2
tough.
I think they cost us the game because if they were just really bad, it was bad timing. And if he can clean those up, again, I think that he looked more confident in the pocket. I feel like he directed traffic. I felt like his pocket presence was better. he just made a couple of bad decisions that, like I said, ultimately probably cost us a game. But there's not a doubt in my mind that he can get better from that. I mean, we saw later in the game he did the same thing. He rolled out to the left, and instead of trying to throw it across the body, he threw it out of bounds. And I was like, well, he learned from that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to see as well. Brandon Cardona, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my good man. I really appreciate it. He says, love the fact that Saquon was in the slot. Hopefully he gets more comfortable out wide. Yes, that was another thing they did was line him up out wide.
Yeah, they did. I think they did on the first play. They came out in the empty backfield shotgun formation. They might have lined him up on the slot in that play. I can't remember, but he definitely was out wide as well in certain plays, and we didn't see that at all last year. And if we did, it was barely ever. It looked like they're getting a lot more creative with Saquon's role this year, and I'm excited to see that because I do want to see him more involved in the passing game. I think you make big plays if you get him out in space. To me, that's his game. You have to get him out in space where he's one-on-one. And he's got the ability to break a tackle and take it for 50 yards like he did on the screen pass. So, yeah, I like that. I like that they're going to involve him more in the passing game. You definitely saw him line up more as a wide receiver.
Yeah, we got 225 in the chat, so thank you guys so much for being here. Do me a favor. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button. It helps out the stream. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when we are going live. More importantly, make sure you guys go into the description. Link to the Up Tainah Talkin Sports is in there. We'll be on his channel next week for this show, and we'll be on his channel next week for the Giants. Where they play the Niners week 3.
Oh God, yeah. But we'll be talking about a Giants win next week.
We're gonna get a win. Let's hope so. We're gonna get on his channel for the game on Sunday. But yeah, it's
a must-win game this week. I'm not even gonna front. I'm not gonna lie. This is a near must-win game. Now, if you look around the division this week, because that's obviously what you're looking at, the Eagles are playing the Rams. Rams looked really good against the Cowboys last week. I think there's a good chance the Eagles start 0-2.
I do too.
Cowboys
they'll get another video from me. I don't care what happens.
Cowboys are playing the Falcons. Cowboys are at home. I think the Falcons are going to put up points. They got an explosive offense. Cowboys secondary sucks. So I think they'll put up points, but in the end, that's a game I could see the Cowboys losing. I picked the Cowboys. I think it'll be a close game though. And then the Skins got a really good test against the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals a great week 1. That should be a good test for both teams because Washington showed they had a really good pass rush. A lot of people are questioning the Arizona front line, the offensive line. So I think that's a really good test for both teams. I'm looking forward to actually watching that game. But I could easily see all 3 teams losing this week, and the Giants win. All of a sudden, everybody's happy again. We're 1-1. We're tied for first place, and who knows? That's what football's all about. You change your opinion week to week. Yeah,
because there's so few games, you get really into these games. And again, we've lost a lot of games, and I'm sick of losing. I hate losing. Like I said, I hate getting made fun of by our divisional opponents, which is why that day when we didn't play and the Eagles and Cowboys lost, I said, I am taking full advantage of this. There was no way I was letting that opportunity pass me by. And they're all like, oh, karma got you. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? You really think that if I didn't make those videos, the Giants beat the Steelers, you think that I have that kind of power? Stop. I wish I did. I don't, Triple J, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says work ran late today. Sorry, I'm late, Baddog. You to go. Number 1, you don't ever need to apologize for missing a stream, being late. You're here now, but how can I be the GOAT when you're the GOAT? And Andrew Thomas, you the man. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my good man. He says if Barkley has a bad season and the Giants have a season like last year, and somebody offers us 3 first rounds and 2 first-round picks for Barkley and Ingram. Number 1, nobody would ever offer that. But
take that in a second.
We could win the Super Bowl, and if somebody offered that, I would take it.
Listen. I'm a huge Saquon. We're both huge Saquon Barkley fans. I love Saquon Barkley, and I'm not putting that on him. His rushing total, like I said, his pass blocking was bad. Dropped a couple of passes. There's definitely reason for criticism in that game for Saquon Barkley. There's criticism to go around for everybody.
Oh, he missed blocks too. Saquon missed.
Yeah, no, Saquon was bad in the pass blocking department. Yeah. But I still think he's one of the best. I still think he's the best running back in terms of being a playmaker in the backfield. Needs to work on certain things in his game. I'm going to criticize him for that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you always say, it's about the team. It's not about the player. If you get a package like that, you do it. But we're not getting that. I mean, here's the thing, man. Running backs, they don't hold the value of other players in the NFL. People aren't going to give a 3 first-round picks for a running back when they know he's going to be hitting his contract soon, and he's going to break down in 5 or 6 years. It's just not going to happen. That's why I continue to say I think Barkley's going to be here. Hopefully, if he doesn't have a great year, we get him on a more cost-effective extension. But he's going to be here. I'd be surprised if he's not here.
It says Andrew Thomas donated there. What did you think about Andrew Thomas' performance on Monday night?
Andrew Thomas played pretty well, all things considered. When you go back and look at the highlights, he did decently. I think a lot of the guys coming off the edge had to do with the scheme, like you were saying. They were trying to get Gates to go and pull and help somebody out. But Thomas did pretty well. Everything that you heard, the metrics said he did well. If you look at the tape, I watched Bobby Skinner from Talkin Giants do a breakdown of it. Andrew Thomas played well, especially when you consider the opponent he was going up against. He was going up against Watt, Dupree. You're talking about maybe the best duo in football. I mean, they're up there in terms of pass rushers. So I thought Thomas played really well for a debut start for a rookie, considering the opponent. And I expect that all year. I mean, if he played pretty well against the Steelers, I'm pretty confident in him. I'm looking forward to that Chase Young Andrew Thomas matchup week 6.
That'll definitely be a lot of fun to watch because Chase Young had a monster game. For Washington. I absolutely love Chase Young. I'll tell you what. I mean, I hate the Eagles with a passion. So of course, watching them lose anytime makes me happy. But I'm telling you, man, I love defense. I mean, I do. I love defense. I love watching the quarterback and slam. I mean, I grew up in the 80s with the Giants. I mean, they were all about defense. So, I mean, I grew up with the LTs, the Harry Carsons, the Carl Banks, Leonard Marshalls. Like, I grew up with, the George Martins and the Jim Burts. I mean, I grew up in that era. So I'm used to it. So to watch guys like Ryan Kerrigan and Chase Young and Montez Sweat, all these guys flying around and just drilling cars. Like, I just sitting there going, God, man, I'm sitting there going, God, I remember when our defense was like that. Because that reminded me of the 07 Giants.
It's been a long time.
What that reminded me with Tuck and Strahan and you and Yora.
Kiwanuka.
It gave me a little bit of that. Like, oh, Jesus. And if Dwayne Haskins just doesn't turn the ball over, that team's going to have a chance. I mean, anytime you get to the quarterback and force turnovers, you got a shot. And Haskins didn't play well, but he wasn't awful. Like, he played a lot better in the second half. He didn't play good at all in the first half.
First half, he was bad. Second half, he got the job done in the second half. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. If Haskins could give you adequate quarterback. Now, the thing is, I'm not going to get too hyped yet. It definitely put me on notice. And I definitely
like watching the pass rush.
Was that? No, I'm saying
Washington's going to win 10 games, but I like
No, I agree. But I definitely think they have a very good pass rush. But the Eagles were completely banged up on the offensive line.
Yes, they were really bad.
That's why I got to see. They had a rugby player in there, got a third-string tackle, never played organized football. So I got to see it a few more weeks before I completely buy into them being that good of a pass rush. But they're definitely a threat, and I think we knew that going in. Once they got Chase Young, they did what the Giants did, like you said, first-round pick last year on Montez Sweat. This year they spent another first-round pick on another edge rusher. And as Giants fans, I think we got to start investing starting next year. I completely understood. Listen, I talked about it.
We need the line, the offense.
I talked about it for 4 months. You needed that left tackle to protect for your quarterback. And so they needed to do it. It was the year they needed to do it. But next year, I think you need to go out and get an edge rusher, whether it's in free agency or the draft or both. I mean, Lorenzo Carter, I think he's going to take a step up this year, but I still don't think we have that elite edge rusher.
We don't have a TJ Watt. We don't have Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Melvin Ingram. We don't have those guys.
We don't have that. You really need two of those guys in today's NFL. You have to be able to get after the quarterback.
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, we need guys like that. So I expect them to do that. But, yeah, the Redskins, from that aspect, are more advanced than anybody in this division, in my opinion. They have the best pass rush in the NFC East.
Yeah, I don't deny that at all. One other thing I want to say, too, I talk about Big 12 receivers all the time. So I always try to pay attention to them, especially when they're in our division. Now, Denzel Mims is hurt for the Jets. I try to tell these guys, Big 12 receivers stink. I was talking to Gary Davis, like, he hasn't even played. I said, that's because Big 12 receivers don't get hit, okay? They don't play defense in Big 12. They run free. They run into the end zone. They never take a hit, ever. So they get hurt. Josh Doxson did. Corey Coleman did. It's just the nature of the beast. Jalen Reagor stunk. He had one big pass for 55 yards, and the Eagle fans are going crazy. He ran two really bad routes. One caused a turnover, and he muffed a punt. He's not good. That guy is not good. Now, CeeDee Lamb, he only had 5 catches for 59 yards. But if you watch the way CeeDee Lamb played, way better. CeeDee Lamb's a star, man. I'm telling you. And the same thing with Jalen Hurts. The only reason I'm saying this stuff is because I watched that conference very closely. I'm a Sooner fan, so of course I'm gonna watch that, and I'm gonna know these players very well. Chase Young, I watched, but there's a lot of Big Ten. Like, I don't know the guys in Minnesota. I don't know the guys from Penn State. I don't know a ton of guys from Florida. The SEC teams I watch are like LSU, Georgia, Alabama. And obviously ACC, it's Clemson. But Big 12, I know pretty well. So it's not like I try to troll the Eagles by saying Jalen Reagor is not going to be good or Jalen Hurts isn't going to be good. And even with the same thing, the Cowboys got Neville Gallimore. Neville Gallimore is not going to be anything in the NFL, just like Charles Tapper was. They were decent pass rushers at Oklahoma, but that's it. So I don't know. I don't think the Eagles draft was really good. That's kind of where I was going with this. I don't think the Eagles drafted well.
No, I don't.
First 2 days at all. I don't think Jalen Reagor is the answer. And I certainly don't think Jalen Hurts is the answer.
I think the Eagles are in big trouble. I think the Eagles are in big trouble, not just for this year, but for the future. We talk about it all the time. And the other thing I want to talk about is the Cowboys, not just the loss that they sustained, but the injuries. Van Der Esch is a huge loss for them.
Big loss.
Big loss. He's going to miss half the season. And they lost Jarwin, who was supposed to be the tight. Yeah, who's supposed to be the tight end that breaks out for them. So this division's wide open, and it looks a lot more likely that the Skins could win this division after 1 week. Not saying they're going to. Like I said, I'm not fully bought in. But when you look at the Eagles' schedule, it is brutal. The Cowboys now have 2 key injuries. If the Cowboys lose this week to 0-2, you don't know. You don't know. It's a wide open division. It's a crazy year.
Whoever has the best record within this division is going to win this division because we're not beating a lot of teams outside this division. Speaking of Philly fans, Philly Notion, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says salute to the goats. Great work as always, fellas. Get ready for the 0-2 club. I thought he was talking about the Eagles because it says they're
going to be in the 0-2 club too.
And then he says Eagles will bounce back against the Rams. Let's go Bears. Philly Notion, I love you. You're losing to the Rams. You guys are not as good as the Cowboys. You're not beating the Rams. Aaron Donald is going to have a field day against your offensive line. He's going.
I agree. I picked the Rams. I won't ever count out the Eagles. They're a gritty team. They find ways to win games, but I'm picking the Rams. That offensive line looks like a shell of itself. Like you said,
a lot of injuries.
Yeah, like you said, Reagor. I mean, maybe he'll turn into a really good receiver. Doesn't look great yet. And they're banged up. I don't know if their running back's back this week, but they had
Miles Sanders. Yeah, he got hurt. He didn't play, right?
Yeah, he didn't play. Boston Scott played. I don't know if Sanders is back this week, but I just think the Rams are a better football team right now. I do. I think the Rams. I think the Rams have been underrated all year. It's just that they play in the West, but the Rams have a good football team. Don't sleep on them. I think they're going to win that game. I think the Rams are going to win.
I think the Rams can win too. I don't think the Falcons will beat the Cowboys.
I don't either.
I don't think the Falcons are good. I think the Cowboys will bounce back.
I think they'll put up points, like I said, but I don't see how they could stop the Cowboys' running attack.
I don't either because Zeke had a big game against the Rams, and yeah, I mean, like I said, see, like they did those injuries are going to hurt them down the stretch, but I think they're good enough to beat the Falcons. I don't think that I have no faith in the Falcons. The Falcons' defense is terrible. Yeah. I could see Dak Prescott and Zeke having big games against the Falcons. I could see the Cowboys putting up 38 like the Seahawks did.
I could definitely 30. I could see for sure the Cowboys. Yeah, but you never know with them. You never know with the Cowboys. Sometimes they're a tough team to figure.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that's the thing. So you just I don't know. It was weird. It was just a weird game. Them losing the Rams was a weird game because it seemed like they dominated. Usually, when you dominate up front like they did, Zeke had the big game. Prescott wasn't great, but he wasn't. I mean, I shouldn't say he wasn't. He was pretty good. I mean, he wasn't bad. He obviously, missed some throws, but he. Well, I would have to watch a game back to really understand why they lost. I think sometimes I go in live streams and I'm kind of watching the game, but I'm also reading the chat and, watching Mark Holmes. And then I went over to Philly 500 and I start to kind of talk, but I'm watching the game. It's kind of secondary. So I miss a lot of things. Yeah. So I really think like the Cowboys outplayed the Rams, but somehow ended up losing. So
I'm going to be honest. Dak did decent on the stat sheet, but he had every opportunity to win that game, and he didn't. I think they had 3 opportunities to go down there and tie the game for a field goal, and they couldn't do it. So to me, Dak cost them the game.
McCarthy should have went for the field goal the one time they went for it on fourth down. I don't know what the hell that is. But I'm telling you, I think Mike McCarthy's a very overrated head coach.
Never wanted him.
He had one of the best teams you could ever have with Aaron Rodgers in his prime. And those Packer teams, he won 1 Super Bowl. You don't have Aaron Rodgers there. And I think Aaron Rodgers hit a lot of Mike McCarthy's weaknesses because Aaron Rodgers is a guy that audibled the line. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that's one of the most talented, if not the most overall talented quarterback to ever play this game. It's a failure on his part that he only won one Super Bowl. But there's no questioning Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Dak Prescott's not Aaron Rodgers.
How about Aaron Rodgers week 1?
Oh God, he's back.
But
the Vikings. That's not like they have a crappy defense in Minnesota.
The thing is, I think a lot of people forgot that last year, Rodgers, he's been in McCarthy's offensive scheme his entire career. And I think people forgot that last year they brought in a new head coach with LaFleur. And it takes probably a year to get fully acclimated to an offensive system. And I think you saw week 1 that Rodgers is fully comfortable in that system. I was sleeping on the Packers. I'll be the first to say it. I said they may not even win the North. After watching that, I'm pretty confident with the way Rodgers played because I know that their defense is good. They got a good pass rush. They've got a good offensive line. They've got a good ground game. If Rodgers plays like that, and who knows, we'll see. If he continues that, they're a Super Bowl contender. Like that, they got a good surrounding team. Rodgers looked insane.
I think anytime you have a quarterback as good as Aaron Rodgers, you're a Super Bowl contender. The quarterback is the most important position on the field. And Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he don't even need a coach. Like when you're as good as Aaron Rodgers, you don't need a coach. Aaron Rodgers can do it. Like Peyton Manning. Yeah. Peyton Manning did not need a coach out there. Peyton Manning could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Peyton Manning probably didn't even. Peyton Manning called the plays.
Peyton Manning was the coach, the GM, the owner. He was everything.
It's like LeBron. LeBron don't. The freaking coach ain't telling LeBron what the hell to run. You think Spoelstra ran that offense in Miami? LeBron ran it. You think Paul Blatt ran it in Cleveland? LeBron ran it. You think Frank Vogel's running this in Los Angeles? LeBron's running it.
You and me could coach LeBron James, and we're going to at least the Western Conference Finals.
Because
the game plan here, LeBron, take the ball, go.
Yeah, and that's Aaron Rodgers. You can call him whatever play you want, but they're going to set up a defense, and Aaron Rodgers is going to go, okay, that guy's here, we're going to do this, he's incredibly talented. And I honestly think, like I said, it doesn't look good on him that he's only won one Super Bowl. You could say the same thing about Drew Brees because he holds pretty much every legitimate passing record there is, but they've only won one Super Bowl. Of course, they did get ripped in that game against the Rams. They should have been in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
And I think they would have won, by the way.
That's big what if. Yeah. I think McCarthy held back. Aaron Rodgers. And I think a guy like Andy Reid did as good as he could with that team in Philly because they had no offense. Outside of Brian Westbrook, they had nothing. We talked about that the other night. The Fred X's and the Todd Pinkstons.
Oh God!
When they had Terrell Owens, they went to the Super Bowl, even though the dude broke his ankle or foot. Yeah. Which
I hate to admit it because I never liked Terrell Owens. That's one of the most incredible performances I've ever seen. Playing on the broken ankle in the Super Bowl, he had like 150 yards or something like that. He was incredible.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. Those Eagles teams never had a ton of talent. But Andy, that's the difference. When you have look at Andy Reid took Alex Smith. We're winning 12 games. We're getting the number 1 seed in the AFC. So it coaches a lot when it comes to success,
especially in the playoffs. Which is really why I like Joe Judge. And one thing, I watch his press conferences. And I read the comments, and I see people saying, oh, man, why is he only talking about positives? I thought Joe Judge was this tough, no-nonsense guy. He's not going to put up with the turnovers. He's not going to put up with the penalties. He's going to make them run laps. But one thing I know about Joe Judge, and this is just from listening to him talk, the short time we've had him here, Joe Judge is not going to air out his players in the media. But I guarantee you behind closed doors, and one thing he did say about the interception, he said, I'm going to talk to Daniel about that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to say Daniel Jones, he played poorly. He's not going to do what I did. He's not addressing it like a fan where
No, should he? He's the head coach.
We can't turn it over there. That was on him. He's
right.
going to do that. But when he gets in the locker room, he's going to say, listen, when you roll out to the left, throw that ball away, take a sack. Don't try to make something that's not there. Or when you drop back, don't blind, because he did. I mean, T.J. Watt made a great play, but he just dropped back and threw it. He did not see T.J. Watt there. Even if T.J. Watt don't pick it off, it's knocked down. He didn't see him drop back.
No, and he didn't look up the receiver.
Listen, Eli Manning didn't do that for 17 years.
Listen, man, you're going to, I think Danny Jones is going to be a lot like Eli Manning. And I think you're going to have to, that he seems to be the type of guy that's going to take the shots. And he's going to win games for us. And there's going to be games where you're like Well, all right, here's what I'll say about that drive. And the interception was bad. Cost us we were about to take a 17-16 lead, or at least make it
so well up into that point on that drive.
That's the best drive I've seen the New York Giants have in at least 5 years.
Yes, I completely agree, which is why it was so disappointing, because he did everything so well in that drive. And to that point, he was using his legs, he was rolling out, he was throwing dimes all over the place, he was changing pass protection. It was
all him.
He was doing so good.
That drive was all him. It was
so encouraging. And then for it to end like that, I was like, oh my God. Like I said in my post-game video, or like my recap or whatever, you could see you see all the life go out of both of us. And even though you couldn't see the chat, you can't see their face, but you could feel the energy just kind of get sucked. That we had such a good drive. And for it to end like that, it's like, oh.
Well, in my head, when that drive's going on, I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking back to Eli. I always talk about it. Like the moment where I knew that Eli was the guy against the Eagles, and when they came back, and I'm saying to myself, if they finish this drive the way that he's playing, this is going to be a drive that when Daniel Jones hopefully wins the Super Bowls, that I'm going to look back at and say, that's when I knew it. And because you saw it, man, going up against the team he was going up against, making the plays, improvising. It was an incredible drive. It really was, and it sucks that it ended the way it did, but that's why I tried to leave it positive and encourage. I know participation trophies, you want to win the game. I completely get it. I have been watching this team just as much as anybody. I love the team just as much as anybody. I get just as upset when they lose just as much as anybody. But, that's why I said in my post-game video, everybody takes it different ways. I try to see the positives in the game. I don't want to just harp on the negatives, and it was bad. That definitely cost us the game. That was he made two plays. They caught three. They got to score on the goal line too.
Got to score on the goal.
But
one of those was definitely on Evan Ingram, in my opinion.
And Garrett, they got to run from the I formation first play. You can't.
Yeah, they ran out of the shotgun, and we were like, "What the hell are you doing? Don't run the shotgun at the 3-yard line."
Yeah, and that's a place there where, in my opinion, you either you want to go I formation, or if you're in the shotgun, maybe you do an RPO. I don't like to hand off to Saquon Barkley there. On first down. So I didn't like that either. But that'll drive overall, though. I thought he looked as good as I've ever seen.
That was as good of a drive as he's had since he's been there. What the Giants should have done to me on 1st and goal from the 3, you line up in the I formation, you offset I, you bring in the jumbo package, you bring in the 2 tights, you bring in the one wide receiver and Slayton. In my opinion, at that point, that's a perfect time to play action pass, and you're going to hit Evan Ingram. He's going to be wide open. Or Caden Smith. One of those tight ends will be wide open if you play action down there. I don't know why they didn't do that. And again, if you're gonna run, do not run out of the shotgun. I hate that from any place in the field, but especially inside the 5, because you know that the entire defense is all stacked in the box. Yep. And you have no momentum and you have no lead blocker. Where the hell is he going to go?
Yeah.
I just didn't like that call. So, I guess when you look back at it, it's like, Jason Garrett made some precarious calls. But at the same time, it's one game. I can't be like, oh, Jason.
No, it's one game, and it's against the Steelers. So he can't unleash the full playbook, because most of those calls are just common sense. When you go up against a team like that with the type of offensive line that you have, knowing that you're not going to be able to provide enough time to throw balls down the field, it's going to be a lot of quick throws. So I don't think we saw, and I don't think we're going to see, the full Jason Garrett playbook probably until week 6 or 7 when this offensive line gets fully acclimated and you're like, okay, now I'm confident we could start to unleash these deep throws more often now that Jones is going to have a little more time.
And remember, we didn't have a preseason, so that hurts too. So you kind of saw it was almost like a preseason playbook. That's kind of what it looked like to me. Where you really vanilla offense, don't want to show the defense anything, but that kind of sucks. Misleading story. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my good Mason's best show on YouTube. Appreciate that. 361 in the chat, only 134 likes. Baddog, you know what to do. Yeah, you guys haven't done so. Hit that thumbs up, man. Smash the hell out of that like button. Let's go. Hit that thing. It helps out the stream.
I can't stop my fingers. You do it. 200.
200 likes, guys. Make it happen. Let's go for the Giants, baby.
And Misleading Story, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, buddy.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Ring the bell. More importantly, make sure you go into the description. Subscribe to Up Tainah Talkin Sports. Link is in there. Again, we'll be live on my channel this week for the Giants and Bears game. We'll live stream that together. And then, of course, next Thursday, or it'll probably be Friday. I think the Lakers are off on Friday next week.
Friday, okay.
But whatever it is, Talking Giants and the Giants game will be on Chris's channel next week. So we do that every week. We'll be doing it. I don't even know. We've talked about – we normally would be doing this 2 times a week. But because
You got
because the damn NBA playoffs are on right now, and
too much right now. Yeah.
I just
no. It's too much right now. It's too much.
I can't miss it now.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize this game was an overtime. The Sounders game. Andrew Thomas, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Which defensive prospect, if you could pick any defensive player, Surtain Jr., Shady Wade, or Micah Parsons, just your personal opinion? I would take Parsons if that was up to me.
I'm taking Parsons. And Rousseau's another guy that I'm talking about a lot. Yeah, he didn't mention him there, but I'm taking. I want Isaiah Simmons. I want that type of player in next year's draft. Maybe a little bit more of a traditional linebacker, but a guy that can cover, a guy that's very athletic. And that's what Parsons hopefully represent. Not that he's the identical athlete to him, but he's a guy that can cover at the linebacker position. So that's what I would want. I think that, especially in this defense, I think you need that. We definitely need edge rushers too. And I could see us doing that in free agency. I've talked about that. There's going to be a number of potential guys that we could bring in if they decide to spend big at that spot. And I think they will. I think that next year they're going to try to bring in one or two more pieces to try to put this team over the top.
Yeah, I think that they have to, and that's the thing. There's these rumors. I saw is Odell Beckham come. Remember, I said a couple years ago.
You said it last year.
Like Odell Beckham's going to come back, but he won't come back here. And he's not coming back. He's too much money. And the other thing is, like I said, and that's still, trust me, still in the back of my mind, there's always that thought, man, Daniel Jones and Odell Beckham, like that could work.
Yeah.
Especially with the way Slayton has performed. Odell Beckham, he can be a number 2 receiver, but he is a number 2 receiver in more ways than one. That freaking weird ass play. But obviously the thought of that is awesome. But the Giants are not one player away.
No.
You know what I mean? So when they talk about Allen Robinson, when you hear about Earl Thomas is 31 years old. If he's not going to help the Giants. He's a guy for Dallas. Al Robinson's a guy for Philadelphia. Teams that are supposed to be competing for the division, getting into the playoffs, they might need one player. We need a lot more than one player still. We're moving in the right direction, but one big name wide receiver or pass rusher at this juncture is not going to help. Now, next year when you get another draft, then maybe you draft the pass rusher, maybe you draft the Micah Parsons, maybe you draft the Jamar Chase, but then you go out and you get a Melvin Ingram or a Yannick Ngakoue. You got something because then you got your core guys. Then you start to add pieces and pieces. But I'll be honest, like I said, to just put a bow on that Pittsburgh game, I do think that the Giants played. At first I'm kind of harsh on them. Like we got blown out. The game is 26-10. We were never close. But the more I look at that, we were very close. It's just the fourth quarter.
We were one throw away from having the lead going into the fourth quarter.
The game got away from us in the fourth quarter, and I think that. It speaks volumes. This Giants team, like I said, there was a different energy to me. I definitely think that we can beat the Bears. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I think if they play fundamentally sound football like they did this week, they played pretty fundamentally sound football. And the other thing is Daniel Jones, it was visibly evident, definitely, especially against a team like that who caused the most fumbles last year. Definitely you could see it. When the pocket was collapsing, he made it a focal point to hold on to that football. You could see it. I'm encouraged by that. That was obviously a huge question mark. He did have one fumble, but in fairness,
it was a bad break for us.
I was going to say, yeah, it was. But you said it. You said it too. As soon as it happened, you're like, I can't get on for that. Watt was there within 2 seconds. He went to throw
and his hand got hit.
And he was there within 2 seconds. He was there within a second and a half.
That was definitely not his fault. It's not like he held on to the ball and he lost it. He went to throw it, his arm got it. Any quarterback in the league is fumbling that one. By the way, Carson Wentz fumbled twice. And he threw 2 interceptions. Daniel Jones actually played better than Carson Wentz.
Much better. In my opinion, Daniel Jones was the best quarterback in the division this week. I know he didn't get the win, but when you factor up the defense he was going up against and the no support that I thought Daniel Jones played better than any quarterback in the NFC East this week.
It's encouraging. And I think, like I said, I still stand by. Yes, guys, I was critical about Daniel Jones because, like I said earlier in the stream, just because my son behaves 95% of the time doesn't mean the 5% of the time he misbehaves, I'm not going to address it. So Daniel Jones can play as well as he wants, but when he does something I feel costs the game, I'm going to say, hey, you can't do that. But at the same time, the way he had a different aura about him. He seemed very confident. That was a different guy. He seemed like he's ready to take over the reins as the leader, like I'm the guy. And there's no more Eli back there. He doesn't have to play in his shadow. This is his team. So I feel like the Giants They've got to find a way to win these games, guys. If the Giants can find a way to win a couple of these games, then your confidence really starts to grow. And I'm telling you, that is contagious. When you start to believe in yourselves that you can pull these wins out, you start playing a lot better. That's what happened with the 2007 Giants. I'm telling you right now, when they played the Patriots that last week of the season, they lost by 3 points. They had a lead by 12 late in the third quarter. They said, we can play with any team in the NFL, and that confidence brought them all the way to a Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying this team's going to win a Super Bowl, but this team could get a lot better and start to surprise some teams at the end of the year if they start to get confidence and they start to work together and they believe in themselves. You're going to see a much different Giants team at the end of the year. But we got to find a way to win these games and not have those turnovers happen that has happened to us so many times in the past. Let me just get these super chats real quick.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. Lakers tomorrow night, LA. Brilly. 2012 was no line coach for kids ages 11 to 13. I taught them to fire off the line. Whatever blocking scheme you're running, win the line of scrimmage. Saquon had no chance. Colombo has work to do. Yeah, we mentioned that before. We thought his scheme was bad. I thought that, again, you give the Steelers credit. They have a great front four, front seven. But I felt like the scheme had a lot to do. They looked confused.
Yes, they did.
On a lot of plays. Like, there's just a lot of missed assignments. Chris Devers, good Cowboy fan right there, one of my favorites. Brilly, my man. He says, week one, I was in a bad mood all day, Monday. No preseason hurting us. I'm so bummed. And Big Mike step up and bark with 6 yards. Yeah, it was a bad game for Saquon Barkley.
Horrible game for Saquon Barkley.
Bad game. Andrew Thomas, best left tackle in the league. Brilly. He says, or would you want Jamar Chase from LSU inside instead of Parsons? Personally, I'm a defensive guy. So if I was saying I wanted Isaiah Simmons over Andrew Thomas or Jedrick Wills or Tristan Wirfs or any of those guys, I'm definitely going Micah Parsons over Jamar Chase. I'm
going defense. If I'm the GM in next year's draft, I just am. And it's a very deep wide receiver class. I think you can find a high impact receiver in the second, maybe even the third round. Or free agency, maybe if you decide to go that route. But I think you're starting to see that Slayton's asserting himself. Yes, I definitely want to have another alpha wide receiver, if we can, top 5, top 10 wide receiver. But to me, we got to fix this defense. We got to fix the defense. We need a center. There's a lot. Hopefully, Gates establishes that, but didn't look great week one. But it's his first game. I'm gonna give him a bit of a mulligan there. But I got to go defense in next year's draft. Like everybody complains about, we went offense. Last year, I was all aboard the offense train. I wanted defense the year before, but I was all aboard the offense train because we needed a tackle. But we drafted 2 tackles this year. I want defense next year. We need defense.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt about that. And, it's funny. I remember during that game, and this is what sucks about being a Giants fan right now. Philly 500 and all of his guys come in, Mad Dogs, Giants. I was not mad at all in that game. I never got mad. Disappointed at the end of that great drive. That was disappointment. Definitely.
Oh yeah, it took the air out of the tires.
But the thing that sucks about being a Giants fan is like that whole game, I'm just waiting for something bad to happen. You know what I mean? Like, we were playing with these guys. We're actually beating these guys. Like, for the first, I would say, 28 minutes of that game before they had that 2-minute drive to take the lead and score that touchdown there. I felt like we were the better team. But I kept sitting there going, something bad's going to happen. Because we've lost so many of these games. I can't wait to have the feeling like I know we're going to win like we used to have.
We're going to make something bad happen for them.
From 2007 to 2011, where it's like, we're going to find a way to win. Like when we were down by 4 points with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, you knew Eli was bringing us back to win the game.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that feeling again, as opposed to the complete opposite. Like, how are we going to find a way to lose this one? How are we going to blow this game?
He needs a lot more help, Daniel Jones.
He does need a lot of help. But I'll be honest, going back and calming down and looking at everything, I really like the energy. I really like the way these guys played a lot of this game. I really love the way the defense played, especially the front four. They were amazing. Daniel Jones' confidence, Darius Slayton. There's some things that we can build on, and there's no doubt about that. But those negative things have got to get out of there, and we've got to make big stops on defense. We cannot allow. Got to get better at the end of the half.
I'll tell you what, and I agree. The last drive of the half was. That's the one spot where I'm definitely critical of the defense. That can't happen.
Yeah.
But they had 2 huge stops in that game. Like I said earlier, the 3 and out after we only scored 3. They didn't give the momentum back to the Steelers. And the other stop was coming out of the half. Again, you figure the Steelers had all the momentum going into the half. They're up 16-10, and they come out, they start with the ball. And in my head, I'm like, well, if they even get a field goal here, this game's probably over. If we're down 2 scores, they got all this momentum, and they got to stop then there too. So the defense kept us in that football game. They did for the majority of that football game. I was encouraged with the defense.
Yeah, I was too. Chris Devers, thank you for the super chat. Really says, guys, just cheers to you both, and let's go. Week 2. Yeah, week 2's almost here already.
Can't wait, man. We're going to have a Sunday game. We have to wait till Monday this week.
I
now
know,
we're going to get
an early game. It's a 1 o'clock slot.
1 o'clock game, so you get to enjoy it. Well, you won't. You'll have to call the Lakers game, but not that you don't enjoy it.
Enjoy it because the Lakers don't play till 7:30, so I'll have 3 hours afterwards.
You get to watch the 4 o'clock game. But it'll be nice to have the 1 o'clock game, and hopefully I get to have a smile on my face, and if they win it,
I'm telling you right now. Hot take.
I think there's no reason why we can't
win this game 24-17.
I think they're going to win too. Right, I think they're going to win too. And last week I picked them to lose. I'm picking them to win this week. I think they're going to win this week.
And they could have won that game. I'm not going to say they should have, but they definitely could have. They had their opportunities. And like I said, I feel like they played pretty well against a good team. So just get those turnovers the hell out of there and run the ball. The keys to victory every week are run the ball and don't turn it over. We couldn't run the ball and we turned it over.
It's true. I do the preview videos every week, and the game plan's always the thing that's different is going over their, the opposition strengths and weaknesses, but the game plan is always going to be the same. I'll give you guys the hint. It's always going to be run the ball, don't turn the ball over, win the time of possession, and make timely throws, and get after the quarterback. So that's always going to be the game plan. And if we don't win the time of possession, we're probably not going to win any games this year. The games we don't win the time of possession with the defense we have, we're not going to win many games. This week we lost 32-28. We got to flip it this week. We got to win 32-28. We got to win the time of possession. We got to extend drives, and we got to find a way to win football games. And the turnover battle, we didn't create any turnovers outside of a muff punt. Even though, in fairness, we came close. We had the near fumble when they got after Ben early on in the game where he threw it back to the running back. That was close, but we weren't able to create any turnovers either. As good as the pass rush was, Ben was pretty good with the football.
Yeah, I agree. It's 11:07, so we'll start to take your questions now, guys and girls from the chat. You guys want to ask some questions? Butterfly says, what's the line of the Giants game? I think they're -6.
The Bears are -6. Bears are favored by 6.
I'm sorry, -6. My bad. The Giants are getting 6.
Getting 6, yeah. In Chicago. And New York Mets, yeah, I saw that. The Mets had a nice comeback tonight. They got a win. I think now they're a game and a half out of that last spot with 10 to play, so we'll see what happens.
I'm looking at the Islanders here. They're still in overtime.
Crazy.
Crazy. It's just,
It's been a hell of a series. I've been watching.
Oh, my God. What a save that was. Oh, my God. So they're showing some missed opportunities here. What am I drinking, Triple J? I'm still drinking Magic Hat, man. I got 15 of these things. So
that's gonna be your beer on Sunday. That's gonna be your beer on Sunday.
I don't know if I'm gonna have beer on Sunday because I'm drinking beer tonight. I still gotta keep the calories to a certain.
You gotta do your thing.
But Giants' greatest organization in the NFL. I mean, they're one of the greatest franchises in the NFL. They're not good now, but they are definitely one of the all-time greats. I mean, they won 8 championships. They've got some of the greatest players ever. They definitely have the greatest coaching tree in the history of football, and that's not even a question. Vince Lombardi, Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Tom Landry all came to the New York Giants. John Fox, Sean Payton. I mean, guys that have made Super Bowls, won Super Bowls. Belichick's probably the greatest head coach in the history of football. Yeah.
You name a great coach, there's a good chance they came from the Giants.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no doubt about it. And I see Simp. Is this guy do you know this guy? Is this guy like a troll? He's been trolling us all night.
I've been ignoring him. I don't really care. I don't know who it is.
I always love it though when somebody comes in, they're constantly trying to bring. Okay, you came into this chat to make fun of the Giants for 2 hours. Go somewhere else. Go root for your own team, whoever you root for. You're a Jet fan, Cowboy fan. Go be miserable somewhere else.
If that makes you sleep better at night, how about it? I mean, the Giants stink. You're not telling us anything we don't know. So if that makes you feel better about the fact that your team lost, so be it. If that makes you feel better about your life, so be it. I don't care. Troll. Hey, to the super chat, my lady. Brilliant. Of course, according to one idiot, that's our account, by the way. So
yeah, I see that.
That's our account. Benjamin Wynn's our account. Diehard Giants fan. It doesn't matter that I met Diehard Giants fan in person, but there's somehow
we talk about this all the time. I don't even remember the guy's name. What's the guy's name?
I don't remember his
Some guy on YouTube accuses Baddog of donating to
I
himself.
donate to myself.
And that makes a lot of sense since you lose like 30% of it.
Yeah, you lose that. And then you call me a fraud. Yeah, because frauds donate $1,000 to make it. Frauds donate $1,600 in a year to charity. Right. And then, so, yeah. But Asia, thank you for the super chat, my lady. Brilly. She says, what's up, Bad Dog, you loon? Yankees swept the Jays. Heat beat the Celtics, and Chris's Mets are winning. Your favorite players were balling. Stanton almost had a triple for the cycle. Let's go, Yankees and Giants. Asia, I was watching a lot of that game. Stanton, I have no problem with Stanton as a player. He just needs to stay healthy. The Yankees hit 5 home runs in the 4th inning. They went back to back to back. We need Stanton. We need Judge. We need them to stay healthy. I don't have a problem with Stanton. Just stay healthy. Sanchez is the guy I really don't like. I can't stand him. And I know he had a homer and a double tonight, but I don't like him. I just don't. But thank you so much for the super chat, my lady. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Asia, thank you for being a great supporter of both of ours. And yeah, and I'm happy about my Mets too, Asia. We got to. I figure the last 10. I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me. They probably got to win at least 7. The 7-3 probably gives them a chance to get in.
Who are they playing? Do you know their schedule?
I know they play. Actually, I'll get the schedule right now while you're talking because I'm interested myself. I think they play some tough teams. I think, but it would be good if they're playing teams ahead of them.
Right.
Let me see. Let me take a quick look. I know they play the Blue Jays. I'm pretty sure. Who maybe they've been falling off a bit. I feel lately. They play. Let's see. Their last 10. They got Atlanta for 3. Then they got Tampa for 3, and then they got at Washington, who hasn't played well for 4.
No, Atlanta's tough.
You figure 3-3 in those next 6, and then they got to take 3 out of 4 against Washington.
Yeah, Triple J. No, I know. I know. He says, I know there's no way doing it. I just want to make sense. I just wonder where somebody gets that. Like, how somebody even makes that up. Like, how the hell is it possible that I'm running 3 accounts at the same time in my chat? They're all moderators. They end up in other people's chats. I'm calling a basketball game with 4,000 people in it, and somehow I can do all of this and donate to myself. I've got to be a damn magician. By the way, how many likes do we have? Let's get 300.
Yeah, how many? I don't even know. My thing doesn't update. It still says you have 9, so I know you have more than that.
Islanders 1-1, 6:45 to go in the OT. That's what we got right there. Let's get there. Let's hit that thumbs up, guys. Again, we got 360 in the house, so thank you so much for joining. Please hit the thumbs up because it does help out the stream. Hit the subscribe if you're new. Make sure you ring the bell. That way you know when I go live. We'll be live for the Giants and Bears this week. And, of course, make sure you go into the description. Some of you on Talkin Sports because next week the show and the game will be on his channel. And, again, huge shout-out to you guys. That might have been the biggest viewed Giants stream we've ever had. We've had some big streams, but we had like 57,000.
I couldn't believe
that's a
the
big
number.
Stream.
It's by far the biggest, I think.
So thank you guys so much for that. I mean, I know we had 2,000 people in there at one time. That was a big stream, though. So thank you guys so much for blowing that up. And again, tell your friends, man. Get more people in here. Let's have a stream where we have 100,000 views for a Giants game.
I couldn't believe that after. I knew we had a lot of people in there, but then when I saw 57K, I was like, holy crap. That's by far, I think, our biggest Giants stream. That was a big one.
Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. Giants win. I hope so, Richard. I hope so. But yeah, guys, ask your questions there. I appreciate it.
Baddog and Up Tainah, what do you think of the NFCs will look before week 3? Okay, I think Washington's going to lose this week. I respect Washington. I think they're going to keep that game close. I actually picked Washington in against the spread. They're getting 6.5. But Arizona impressed me last week. I have not been bought into Arizona all offseason. I'm giving them respect. They beat the 49ers in San Francisco. I think it'll be a close game because Arizona's offensive line is definitely, I think, a weakness of theirs. I think they'll get after the quarterback, but Murray can make plays with his legs. I got Washington losing by 3 or 4 points. Dallas, I'm going to have narrowly beating Atlanta. So I got both of them at 1-1. I got the Eagles dropping to 0-2. I think they lose to the Rams. And I got the Giants winning. I think you're going to have 3 1-1 teams at the end of this week with the Eagles at 0-2. That's my prediction.
I think that I'm not to cut or change the subject. I think that the Lightning just won a series. Yep. Hit the pipe and went over the – hit the pipe and went across the bar. Went across the line. That's the end. That's the end of it.
Great run by the Islanders, though.
It was a hell of a run. They were a scrappy bunch. No doubt about that. Didn't mean to change the subject.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That happened. It's what happens when there's 19,000 sports going on at the same time. What were you saying? I'm sorry, Chris.
No, somebody asked the NFC East what the standings are going to look like.
I'm just going to give it to you right now. Giants 1-1, Washington 1-1, Dallas 1-1, Eagles 0-2. Danny Thomas, thank you for super chat. Brilly says PTA Sports sent me here to salute from Manteca, California. Well, thank you for the super chat. And of course, PTA Sports is the freaking man. I've had him on the channel. Chris, you worked with him a few times. Actually, I think you had him. Were you guys doing the you were doing a primetime game? He was there, correct?
Oh yeah. For Thursday Night Football.
I tuned into that for a little bit. I don't think I said anything, but I just tuned into that.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he's awesome. I love Pest. So yeah,
he's awesome. Will it be harder for the Giants to win this week than the Steelers? No, I think the Giants have a better chance of beating the Bears than the Steelers.
Oh yeah, the Steelers are a better team than the Bears. And I'm not knocking the Bears. I think the Bears are decent. I don't think they're a joke, but I got a lot of respect for the Steelers. I think they're the third or fourth best team in the AFC.
Giants Con says Patrick Graham said that he wasn't prepared for the rub routes that Pittsburgh is running to get the receivers open. As a Giants fan, how do we have faith in anyone that this organization hires? It's been tough. I mean, there's no doubt about that. We've been a bad team for, like I said, been the worst team in football for 3 years and a game now. But listen, again, these guys did not have a lot of time to prepare for this stuff. They really didn't. There's no film on the Steelers. You can't go back and look at the preseason games. And again, they keep the playbook pretty vanilla, but you get a good idea of what they want to do. So maybe they had something different. Maybe these things were not things that the Steelers did last year. I don't watch a lot of Steelers football, so I honestly couldn't tell you what kind of routes they ran last year, but perhaps there was no rub routes and the Giants were not prepared for that. That's very possible. This is going to happen because you don't have film on these teams. So if they change from one week to the next, or, from last year to this year, what do you have to go on except for what they did last year? So if they ran no rub routes, might have been hard to plan for it.
Yeah, and maybe Graham shouldn't come out and say that because it makes him.
Biden shouldn't say that. Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that the case any week when you get beat? If you get outplayed, you usually weren't prepared for something that the team showed you. So they were able to get open, and I'm assuming rub routes were the reason they were able to do so. So maybe shouldn't say it, but like you said, we didn't have any time to prepare a young defense. It's one game. You chalk it up. I mean, I don't know how you could complain, like you said, with the defense after this week. They had one really bad drive, but outside of that, I was impressed with Patrick Graham's defense this week, all things considered.
Yeah, I thought they played pretty well. I just went over to the football game now. What do we got here? 28-22, 28-23 now. Browns.
So they're coming back.
Yep. Bengals did just score, yes. Can I coach the Giants? I wish. I'd rather be a Giants fan than a Skins fan. Same here. I mean, the Skins have had like 3 10-win seasons since 1991. It's been pretty bad. Yes, sports expert. I was watching. I actually had that game on, so I lost in overtime. Darnay Holmes is the truth. Darnay Holmes played well. I thought Darnay Holmes had a really nice game. I think he might have got beat now and again, but I mean, he's a rookie. I thought that he played well. I thought Darnay Holmes did a good job, much better than Ballantyne.
Darnay Holmes was solid. I mean, he had that one really nice play where he almost caused a fumble. First play of the first drive. On third down when he came off the blitz. He got beat a little bit in the slot, but overall, Juju Smith-Schuster might be the best slot receiver the game has to offer. So, overall, Holmes was decent. I'm not going to say he was great, but for a rookie going up against a team like that, he was pretty good.
Yeah, again, especially since, remember, these guys, these rookies especially, have had no live competition. They didn't get a chance to play in the preseason. They did not get a chance to see full speed NFL action. They didn't get a chance to see complex defenses and everything else, that these teams run. So they haven't had that NFL. They've got no NFL experience. Normally, like I said, preseason games, you certainly don't see the whole playbook. You see very little of a playbook, but you do get acclimated to NFL speed because you are going against guys that are getting ready for the NFL season or guys that are fighting to make this team or make their team. So you're going to get acclimated to the speed. You're going to see some more things that you don't normally see in college. These guys didn't get to do any of that. So the fact that Darnay Holmes, I think that's like I said, that's a second toughest play. That's a second toughest adjustment to make in the NFL besides quarterback. I think corner is the toughest because these wide receivers in the NFL are super big, super fast, and they have great hands, they get great catch radiuses, and they're unbelievable. So I thought Holmes did a really good job, especially since, like Chris said, Smith-Schuster is one of the best, not just slot receivers, but one of the better receivers in the league. So
he had a hell of a game. Smith-Schuster played really well. For sure. Let's see what we got here. Chat is filling up the yeah, Baruch. What's going on, Baruch? Thanks for popping in, my man. Yeah, chat's filling up because the hockey game's over. The what was the other? The basketball game's over. So
basketball game's over. Come on in, tell your friends, hit that thumbs up button if you knew.
What do you think of DJ as our franchise quarterback? Do you guys trust him?
Absolutely.
I trust. Listen, I'm going to be honest. Going into the year, I was leaning that I trust him, and I liked all the things that I was reading, and they saw the weight that he put on, the work that he was putting in. I like him a lot, but after this week, I'm much more on board the Daniel Jones train in terms of being the franchise quarterback. Like the turnover was bad, but I could visibly see the confidence. To me, he looks so much more confident week one than he's looked all of last year. He saw a guy, it was going there. Just zip on the throw. Yes, I am confident.
He didn't down himself on any throw.
Yeah.
That's he had confidence in every throw he made.
Tight spiral. It was zip. He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good. There was a lot of zip on his throws. There was. I thought that game was over. Asia said the Phillies got the bases loaded. I thought that game was over. Kirk Cousins says the toilet bowl is rocking. Bengals down by only a touchdown. Anybody got Odell Beckham's stats, by the way?
He had 74 yards and a touchdown so far.
Oh, all right. He did something. Baker Mayfield did something. He's got 4 touchdowns now. I'm sorry to be so negative. We've become the Browns. No, Giants clown. Listen, I understand. I understand that. I mean, nobody. Listen, by nature, I'm a pessimistic guy. That's just my nature. I'm a guy that does focus on a lot of negatives because I always want to correct the negatives. And I just kind of expect, especially with the way the Giants have played, I kind of expect bad things to happen. It's just until we find, like I said, until we find ways to make plays and win these games, I'm going to always sit in the back of my mind and go, how are we going to lose this one? Like even against Tampa, Daniel Jones goes all the way down, we score, and we're thinking we're only 76 seconds away, and then Mike Evans goes right by George Jenkins. And I'm like, how are we going to lose this? Now, William Gay misses the field goal, but if he don't miss that, we lose because we gave up a huge play with like 30 seconds to go. It's just like that's what happens to us. So we got to find a way to change the culture and just – I'm telling you, when you're a confident team, good things start to happen to you. And I think sometimes the Giants are in this – thing right now where they're so bad that they also sit there and think to themselves, how am I going to lose this time?
Yeah.
When you're playing poker and you have that attitude, you get crappy cards, you get bad beats. I swear to God, there's something to be said about I'm confident.
Well, you doubt yourself too. You don't play confidently with the cards you have. Maybe you fold a hand you shouldn't fold. You don't call a raise you should call. Your absolute confidence is key in a lot of things. But definitely, you start asking yourself, can we hold on to this lead? How are we going to screw this up? And I think they'll overcome that at some point this year. I think they're going to get a lot better, but I think it'll take some time. And I completely understand anybody that's negative. I try to be the cooler head. That's what I try to do on my channel. But listen, I'm a fan too, guys. And you saw my reaction on Sunday night when he threw the pick. As soon as the ball was tipped, I knew it was picked. I was pissed off. I started screaming, no. So I understand being negative. We've won 13 or 12 games now out of our last 49.
12 and 37.
So listen, it's tough rooting for this team right now. I'll be the first to say it. And the only thing I can say is we're going to appreciate it a lot more when we get out of it. And
no doubt about it. I'm a hothead, man. I'll go off. You guys see my Yankee videos. It obviously works. Yankees have won 8 in a row.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell, I don't know. It doesn't help for Gary Sanchez. They really don't help for the Giants either. But I don't care. Like I said, I grew up in a different era, so I'm much tougher because things were tougher when I was growing up, man. When I was growing up, you were able to take constructive criticism. Nowadays, it's almost like it's taboo to criticize everybody because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Like to me, people nowadays are so thin-skinned. They take themselves too seriously. They can't you're human. You're going to make mistakes. So if somebody tries to correct you because you made a mistake, don't get all offended about it. Just correct it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm a different breed. I grew up at a different time. So my fandom, like I said earlier, is I'm very competitive. I'm a fiery guy. You're not going to run over me. You're not going to talk smack to me. You're not going to do any of this to me without a fight. So I expect my team to do the same thing as my attitude. That's how I fandom my team.
I mean, I want my team.
I live my life. So
I think we all.
That's why people root for the team differently.
I think we all want this team to fight. Yeah,
We do.
every week. And I think they did fight. I think they did fight. If I'm being fair, they didn't win, but they lost to a better team.
Well, like I said, they played well. But my thing is, I have no problem pointing out the negative where some people are like, well, don't do that because I don't know. Like I said, I'm a different breed. Back in the day, you were told that's no good. If I drew a picture and it sucked, nobody said, oh, you did a good job. They'd be like, that's not good. Like, don't be an artist. You can't draw.
Well, that wasn't good.
Just take that. Nowadays, like, oh, that's really good, Johnny, even though he misses all the, coloring way outside the lines and he drew a pig and it looks like like a tree or something. And don't be an artist. But nowadays, you go, oh, that's okay. Good job.
Yeah. Listen, the pick was not good. He was drawing out of the lines.
Yeah, he drew way out of the lines. He went right off the page.
Yeah, the what?
You know what? It ain't going to matter because this week he's going to be inside the lines.
I think he's going to play great this week. I
do too.
I think he's going to play great this week. I really do. I'm confident.
What do you guys expect from the Giants this week? Boruch, I expect them to win. I expect them to clean up the errors. I expect them to go out there. I expect them to play tough. I expect that defensive front to get after Trubisky, shut down that running game. And I expect Saquon Barkley to have a bounce-back game. I expect the Giants to win this game 24-17. I really do.
I think Giants are going to win. I got it closer, but I got the Giants winning 21-20. But yeah, I think they're going to be better, can't be worse at establishing the ground game. I think they'll get it going. I don't know if it's going to be 4 or 5 yards of carry, but I think they'll get it going a bit. They'll make it a little bit easier on the passing game. I think they'll try to stretch the field a bit more in this game due to the fact that I don't think they're going to get as much pressure as the Steelers did. I think they'll have more time to take more shots down the field. I think Evan Ingram actually has a decent bounce-back game. I think he gets involved a bit in the passing game. Maybe I'll be wrong 2 weeks in a row. And I hope
you're right.
And I think Slayton will have a solid game. Looks like Tate might be out again, so that's not good.
We could definitely use that. There's MH. MH says, "Is that Logan Ryan?" No, it's funny. Somebody ripped MH in half in my stream before I did a little pregame for like an hour. Somebody tore him up because he was talking crap about my 3-year-old. No, I don't know what kind of lowlife talks garbage about a 3-year-old. And I didn't see it till after the fact. I didn't even really pay attention to what he said. But that's pretty low. I mean, you're going to talk about a guy's 3-year-old son. You got problems. Don't ever do that again, MH, because if you do, you're off my channel. Don't ever talk about my son, ever. Don't ever, ever, ever say anything about my son again, because that is a one-way ticket out of here. You could say whatever the hell you want about me anytime, I don't care. Never, ever talk about my 3-year-old again. I don't know what kind of guy talks about a 3-year-old kid. Ever. Don't ever do that again. That pissed me off. Don't ever do that again. Ever.
Yeah, I wasn't there. But yeah, it would piss me off too if I had a 3-year-old.
Never do that shit again.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of person does that. Don't ever do it again. I don't care if you're joking or not. Do not do that again.
Yeah. That's fair, man. Let's see what we got here. Do you think Valentine will stay at the number 2 cornerback spot? Maybe for one more week. I think Isaac Yiadom's going to be in there sooner than later. They're going to give him an up. He played a bit last week, but like George said, I think they're going to mix and match until they find out who's the guy on the opposite side. I'm not confident with really anybody. Darnay Holmes played pretty much exclusively in the slot. They don't have a number 2 corner right now. They just don't. And hopefully Yiadom could play okay. He's a guy that they thought could fit the scheme well, but I don't think we're going to feel that's definitely the Achilles heel of this defense.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And that was going to be our Achilles heel anyway because we were inexperienced. And we didn't know you and I both expected DeAndre Baker to take a step up this year. Obviously, he's got his own problems.
Yeah.
And Sam Beal, we didn't know what we had with him. But to lose them both, and, now you got Valentine out there. And Valentine was not good last year. So it was going to be rough anyway, even with McKinney out there because, again, they were so inexperienced. But, I think this secondary has potential, but it's going to take some time, and there's no doubt about that. But a good pass rush can alleviate that. And like I said, when they went all out and then all out blitz, and you leave Juju Smith-Schuster on Yiadom, you're going to lose that battle. But that's a gamble you take. When you bring a 7-man or an 8-man rush and you're out there man to man, you know what's left there. You know if you don't get there, you're taking a big chance. I like that they were aggressive, and it ended up burning. So it is weird.
Yeah, this week, the Bears' weapon, Allen Robinson's obviously their primary weapon. Obviously, you figure Bradbury's going to be on him. Cohen's definitely a big threat out of the backfield in the passing game. I don't know who'll cover him. Maybe Ryan. I don't know. But those are their two biggest weapons in the passing game for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
How long have we been live? We've been live since 10. Gucci will usually go to about midnight, maybe 12:10.
Yep, somewhere there. About 2 hours, 15 minutes, somewhere there. When do you think McKinney's going to come back, Flex? He's supposed to be back in December, the beginning of December.
Yeah, I think it's going to be mid-season. My guess is they probably wait till after the bye week. I think the bye week is after week 10. So I would guess maybe week 12 you'll see him back for similar to Love last year. Not that he was on the IR, but I think he'll get to play the last 5-6 games or whatever it is. Like Love, I think got to play the last 4 or 5. So that's what I think you'll get from McKinney this year. And that'll be fun to see what they do then, where they put Logan Ryan, Love, everything else. So hopefully we get McKinney back. He's a guy that we were all excited to see play this year for this defense.
Yeah, I was definitely excited to see McKinney play. And unfortunately, we're not going to get to see him play until the end of the year. So, and it always sucks for rookie because they need those reps. And again, he had no reps. He had no reps, and there's no preseason games. So when he comes back, that's his first NFL experience. You'd like these guys, and maybe what could be another throwaway year, you'd like them to get as many snaps. But Julian Love came out, played really well, and he played well. I thought he played pretty well against the Steelers. So I think that McKinney will be fine. I think that he's got enough talent where he's going to come in. Now, I will say this. I said Winfield had a really nice game. And I'm sitting there going, oh, God. I'm like, man. That was a guy you and I wanted.
Yeah.
But McKinney was never considered for us. So
we never thought he'd be there, before the draft started.
No, definitely not. Why did they play Logan Ryan or O'Shane week 1? Why they didn't play O'Shane, I do not know. I'm just guessing Logan Ryan because they just brought him in here and he had no chance to work with this system. So he would have been completely lost up there. That's why I think Logan didn't play.
He did play, but he didn't play.
He had like 3. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, he didn't play a ton. Yeah, but like you said, he was only here for like 6 days before the game. So I expect to see him a lot more this week, and hopefully he does some damage.
Yeah, definitely. Khalil Mack is going to eat us alive. We'll see. I heard Khalil Mack was injured, so I don't know how.
He's questionable. I think what's his name? The edge rusher that they signed, Robert Quinn. I think he's out. If I'm not mistaken.
I think Quinn's out. So
that's good. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see with Mack. That would be really good if Quinn wasn't playing this week.
DeAndre Baker was a good draft pick. Yeah. When we got him, I thought it was.
I think Shahid's kidding. I hope.
He's definitely kidding. So
DeAndre Baker was that was not one of Gettleman's finest moments in terms of a draft pick. No. Let's see what we got here. Would you guys want a pass rusher or right tackle? Well, right now, I mean, you got to see what Parrott's got. A lot of people like Parrott, so guy that a lot of people thought was one of the better right tackles in general in this year's draft. So if Parrott's good, we're gonna stick with what we got with Thomas and Parrott. So we got to see. That's why I keep saying people keep asking us draft questions. It's week 1. Yeah. What if these guys bowl out at these positions that we think are in need right now? You don't know. Like, what if Parrott is a really good tackle? What if Lorenzo Carter gets 12 sacks this year? Not that I'm saying he's going to. What if Devontae Downs all of a sudden becomes a good linebacker? It's happened before. So we got to see what we got first before we the cornerback. I'm telling you guys right now, the cornerback, we're going to be drafting another cornerback. I don't know if it'll be the first round. We don't have a second cornerback on this roster that I trust right now. We just don't.
Just laughing at Waterfly. I think Asia said, how old are you, Waterfly? And he said, same as Baddog, old. But it's always good to have company, Waterfly. I am old. I admit that. I mean, I've been around a long time.
BB13 says, home game versus Washington will be the only game the Giants are favored in 6 to 8 wins. Well, right now that might be the case. That could change. Week 10, I'm not going to go game by game.
Favored against the Bengals.
I think we'll be favored out, or at least in Pick'em. I know it's in Cincinnati.
We'll be the Bengals.
Yeah, but I think I still think 5, 6, 7 wins. I think that's a fair estimate for this football team. If they win less, if they win less, they win less. But I just want progress this year. Obviously, I want to win every game we can, but I want to end the year saying that this is a team that I could really see taking a huge step forward in 2021.
Yeah. Sean G says, Baddog, Tainah, thoughts on Blake Martinez? I think he's an absolute stud. Was incredible on Monday night. Oh, he played great.
Blake Martinez was, to me, the third best player on defense. I mean, Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, really stood out.
You and I both picked Leonard to have a big year.
Yeah.
Contract year, prove it year. And I felt like he played really well when he came over here. But it was good to see that.
I was happy to see Martinez play well, too, because he caught a lot of backlash when we signed him. People said he's going to suck. That was the best linebacking play I've seen in quite some time in a New York Giants uniform at that position. That's not saying much.
Right. Somebody mentioned that Blake Martinez had a better game or did more in that one game than Ogletree did in 3 years here.
Yeah, Ogletree had that one great game. But overall, I
think the Bears. He only played well against the Bears. I don't know what that was. He had like 3 picks in 2 years against the Bears.
But Ogletree sucked. So
he was bad.
How is Barkley doing so far? I think that's a troll. I would imagine.
He's doing great. He's doing better than me. He's got like $40 million.
Well, that's true. He's also averaging 0.3 yards. He's averaging 0.3 yards a carry.
He's like 22 years younger than me, and he's in better shape. And I'm in damn good shape, but I ain't Barkley.
No, none of us will ever be Barkley in terms of shape.
No.
That guy's a beast. Martinez had a better game than Simmons. That's true. Simmons got lost in coverage. He got embarrassed against Mostert on that 70-yard touchdown.
It's going to happen. Again,
he's a rookie.
Pains, man.
He's a rookie.
It is. Sports expert, thanks for the super chat. Brilly. And that's a troll. He says, y'all passed him on Jedrick Wills. He's a beast. Jedrick Wills looked terrible and ended up getting hurt. So.
Well, maybe did he? I don't even know. He got hurt. He didn't play tonight?
Well, maybe he played tonight. I don't know. But Wills did not play. He did not play well week 1. I can tell you that much right now.
Andrew Thomas, I know, played better than him.
Anybody's going to play well against the Bengals. This is nothing. And Joe Burrow, this ain't LSU, buddy.
He actually played. I'm looking at the stat line tonight. He threw 2 touchdowns, no picks, almost 300 yards, but 56 passing attempts.
Yeah, that's because they've been behind the entire game.
56 passing attempts for a rookie quarterback in his second start. That's not a good recipe.
You got to throw more too because they're down 35-23, and he's out there throwing. But that's only 6 yards an attempt. That's not good.
Yeah, I had them. I had the Browns covering in this game. We'll see if they score a touchdown here. They won't cover. I had them by 6.
He was great. Andrew Thomas was great. Andrew Thomas was going against a much better defense than this. You're going to get Pittsburgh twice, sports expert. So you'll see how good Jedrick Wills is when he plays that defense. You'll see.
I like Jedrick Wills. I wanted
Jedrick Wills here.
Yeah, I like Jedrick.
Andrew Thomas.
But by no means am I upset with Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, like I said, you'll get Pittsburgh twice. You're going to get Baltimore twice. You're going to find out how good he really is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks like they're about to get a backdoor cover here. The Bengals, they're about to score a touchdown. They're on the 9-yard line. Yeah, Thomas played well. You got to be excited about that. Catch you on the flip side. All right, New York Mets fan, thank you so much for being here. Martinez and Packer played well against the Bears when they played for the Packers, Zach says. Yeah. Hopefully they play well as Giants.
I think they did. I think he did, Yeah. I'm glad we got. Listen, I like Andrew Thomas, guys. I mean, I don't think you could have went wrong with either one of those. I do know Wills had a bad game 1. That I do know. The Browns got absolutely mollywopped and destroyed. They're playing the worst team in football. Well, I shouldn't say that. We might be the worst team in football. They're playing one of the worst teams in football, the Bengals. I mean, they are terrible. So, don't get too high off of Jedrick Wills beating the Bengals. Like I said,
you're at home on Thursday night against the Bengals. Calm down.
Yeah. When you play the Steelers, if he has a good game, come back and tell me because Andrew Thomas did have a good game. Again, Bud Dupree running free. That was not Andrew Thomas's guy. Every time Bud Dupree ran free, you saw Andrew Thomas engaged in a block. That was Nick Gates supposedly put. I don't know why the hell they had that doing that. Again, stop with that stupid fancy blocking. Just line up, helmet on helmet.
Oh God, yeah, for sure. Let's see what we got here. Tainah, Mets won, Simon. Much needed win, but we're a game and a half out. While Baylor's talking, I'm going to look at the MLB standings. I know we're a game and a half out of the last spot, but I don't know how many teams are in between us. But
Boyd caught a touchdown.
Who caught a touchdown?
Tyler Boyd. So, Joe Burrow, they're going to say, oh, Joe Burrow had a great game, and Joe Burrow this, Joe Burrow that. And they were down by 17 points the entire game, and he had to throw over the entire game. And the Bengals are playing prevent, which is never look at stats, man. Stats are so misleading. They are. Watch the game.
Garbage time.
Quarterback hit his receivers in the numbers 3 times and get picked off 3 times because the receiver doesn't catch a ball. Doesn't mean the quarterback played bad, but that don't show up in the box score. You go, oh, that guy threw 3 picks. He stinks, but it doesn't show that every one of them hit the receiver in the chest and it bounced up and got picked off. So don't ever look at statistics. They're not.
Good point.
This just, they can be very misleading.
Yeah, so the Mets, Simon, they're a game and a half out. They're a half game behind the Brewers, who are in 10th. They're a game behind the Cardinals, who are in, so they got to jump 3 teams, but they're a game and a half out for both behind the Reds and the Phillies. So I figure 7 out of 10 they're going to get in, but that's not going to be easy.
Jim Garner and the Yankees have turned into the Bronx Bombers again. I think they've hit 19 homers in the last 3 games. It's something just absolutely stupid. They hit 5 homers in the 4th inning tonight. So
yeah, they woke up. That's for damn sure. That lineup. You knew they were gonna. They're too talented.
Baddog had to come out and rant and let them have it, and they responded. The hell there and boom, let me be the manager. I'll get them guys going. Afghanistan says thumbs up the stream. It's a great idea. We got 400 people in here. So again, thank you guys. It's been a great crowd, and I really, really appreciate you guys all joining us. Of course, Chris and I say this all the time. Watching the growth of this show has been amazing, and we're just waiting for the Giants to be good again. I mean, I just want to do one of these shows where we're like 7-2. You know what I mean? And just running roughshod over the Eagles and the Cowboys. Like, I want to have a show where we're like 7-2, 8-2, and we just beat the Cowboys like 34-7.
It's gonna happen.
I know it is. It's just taking longer than we wanted it.
It's taking way too long. It should happen every year. But
the playoffs, Simon, absolutely. The Yankees are pretty much locked in there now. They're only 3.5 behind Tampa. So
yeah, Yankees are going to the
playoffs.
playoffs.
They're there. The Yankees are in second place. That's automatically that's an automatic bid. So yeah, the Yankees are going to make the playoffs. They'd have to lose their last 10 games and that's not going to happen. Even if they go 5-5, they're in.
Yankees are in the playoffs.
So Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Brilly, my man. He says, I'm Canadian. I started watching the Giants at last year's draft because I'm a Rangers fan, and Saquon just wanted to say thanks to you and Chris for helping. Ryan, no, thank you for watching, man.
Thank you for watching. Is right. Thank you for
really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Riley Shepard, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my man. He says first team in history with 6 homers in 3 straight games.
That's insane.
Killing it.
Like 6. They've hit 18 home runs in the last 3 games.
More. They've hit like 20. Or 21. They hit like 8 homers tonight.
Oh my God!
I told you they hit 5. They hit 5 in the 4th inning. It was stupid.
Wow. The Mets don't do that over 162 game schedule.
Yeah, it's insane. Sports Expert, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says, well, in that case, Bears winning 35-20 this week. Okay.
I'm a sports. Listen, I was on the. I believed in Cleveland this year. To go 10-6, make the playoffs, they're not. The Steelers are a much better football team. They're going to smack the shit out of the Browns. Believe me. The Browns are going to finish 7-9, 8-8, and they're going to have another disappointing year. You could videotape that.
Yeah. Well,
Steelers are going to smack them.
I mean, he's a Cleveland fan. They don't have much to cheer. They have less to cheer about than New York fans. I mean, they really do. They've won 1 championship, and that was the Cavs. They've won 1 championship in that entire city since 1963. So it's been a huge dry spell. I mean, it's
tough, man.
The Browns have never won a Super Bowl. The Browns have never been in a Super Bowl. That's rough. And then the Indians haven't won a World Series since 1948, so that's also rough. At least the Cavs won something. And
LeBron, yeah.
The Blue Jackets, I don't know much about hockey. So
Cleveland's tough. I mean, Cleveland's got it. There's a number of sports. New York's had it tough, too, since – I mean, we're spoiled. We're spoiled, I guess. But New York since the last Yankees championship, they haven't won, right? So, actually, no, the Giants won after the Yankees' last championship. But it's been tough for New York fans in the last 10 years.
Waterfly said, Chris, what was the spread on tonight's game for your channel?
Oh, they killed me, man. They got a backdoor cover, the Bengals. It was a plus 6, so the Bengals covered.
Yeah, those cheesy, meaningless touchdowns at the end of games.
That's why you don't bet. That's why you don't bet.
It's why I don't bet. It's why I don't pick them. It's why I don't fantasy them. I don't do, except for college. College is different because there is no cheap touchdown at the end of the game because college football is all about style points.
Right.
So if you're up, if you're favored by 56.5 and you're up 58-0, you're not going to give up a cheap touchdown. It just doesn't happen.
Plus you got to impress the committee, so you try to put up as many points as you possibly can to get in that playoff spot in college football.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it is what it is. A waterfly. She says I'm 42.
Let's see. Bengals put 30 on Cleveland. Amaya, that Cleveland defense has now given up 30 to the Bengals and 38 to the Ravens, I think it was. So they've given up 60. They're averaging 34 points against the first 2 weeks. They are 1-1 though.
To be fair, the last touchdown really don't count.
That's true. That's true.
But still, I mean, they did give up 23 legitimate points to a rookie quarterback and a terrible team.
Yeah.
The Browns ain't any good. I mean, I thought Baker would be a lot better this year. Baker was terrible in week 1. Again, the Bengals stink. Play a real team, man.
Yeah. Who the Browns got up next? Let me see here. They got Washington next week. That'll be an interesting game.
Oh, that will be an interesting game.
Then at the Cowboys, Colts.
We'll still get Jedrick Wills is going against Chase Young.
There you go. Now we'll see sports expert.
Now we'll see. He's going against Chase Young or Ryan Kerrigan, who I believe is a Hall of Famer. So either way, he's gonna, and we get to play them twice. So we'll see how good Andrew Thomas is.
Yeah. Now you get a real test next week.
Actually, sports expert. Seriously, I have not watched the Browns. I mean, I had him on in the back. Which side is Wills playing? Is he a right tackle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he playing right or left tackle?
If he's
right tackle, I think that he's going against Kerrigan. I think Kerrigan's a strong.
Let me see. They got him on the left side. They got because Conklin's a right tackle. That makes sense.
Okay, so he's gonna get Chase Young. Well, that'll be fun to watch.
That's a good matchup actually. Conklin on the right side going against Sweat. That's a pretty good matchup on both sides.
Yeah, it will be. Not a fan of Chase Young. I don't know. Did you watch him play?
I'm not either because he's a Redskin, but the guy is a fantastic football player.
He was good. That guy was good in that game against. Man, he's good. I have a good feeling about
he's really good.
D Rose. I do too. I think we're gonna. I have great confidence in Andrew Thomas. I feel like the run game is gonna look a lot better this week. I agree, Simon. I think so too. I really do. I think we'll run over to that side a little bit more this time. Vladimir Putin, my favorite Russian, says Odell's a beast. Yeah, it's funny.
Let's see what we got. Yeah, I love people like this.
Yeah, losers. I don't know.
That's probably the same guy that we were talking about earlier. Harrison, you get trolls, man. That's what happens as you get bigger on YouTube. You get people
and you just pay them no attention.
Just ignore them. Just ignore them.
Just let them go on living their miserable life. I don't know what else to say. And that's what it is. I mean, if this is the best thing you can do with yourself, I actually pity people like that. But it is what it is. I don't have to wake up and be that guy every morning. So I don't care. Why does Danny Dimes suck so bad? I don't know. Why'd the Cowboys lose? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Bob. I mean, how did the Cowboys lose to the Rams? I mean, why can't Dak Prescott beat a team over 500? I don't understand. I don't get it.
The Cowboys' 3 road wins last year came against the teams with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th picks in last year's draft, the Lions, the Redskins, and the Giants, and they lost to the Jets and the Bears on the road, and now they lost to the Rams.
And honestly, the Giants were killing them in the first half. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And it's so good they haven't paid them. So that's
4 of their 8 wins came against the Giants and Redskins. I know we're making fun of our own team.
Not to mention they also beat the Dolphins and they beat the Lions. So 6 of their wins came against for the teams that drafted in the top 5. So that's not bad. That's good. That's a good resume to have. You finished 8-8 with probably the best team on paper in the NFC East. So that's
with a soft ass schedule.
Yeah, I mean that's a good job by the Cowboys. They did.
Yeah, they also got when they played the Saints. They didn't have Drew Brees. Don't forget about that, and they lost to them.
Right. So why not? Yeah, they lost to Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
and I mean that's a good job. And of course that was Jason Garrett's fault. That's why they hired Mike McCarthy and they lost to the Rams. and couldn't even score over 20.
Well, it's still Garrett's fault. It's still Garrett's fault.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. So that is what it is. Zeke had a big game, and they still stunk because their quarterback stinks. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I want to see McCoy play this week against the Chicago Bears. I think he's the best, in my opinion.
Dak is better than Rosen is. I'll give him over Rosen. I'll give him over Rosen by a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, he's better than Rosen. I'll give him Darnold too. I think he's better than Darnold. Not by much, but I think they're in the same category. So I just think that Dak has a better. I mean, put Dak in the Jets. How bad is Dak if he's on the Jets?
He's bad. He's bad.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. I put them in the same category.
Yeah.
Cruzon, thank you for the super chat. Really. He says, by the way, Cruzon was so not a Simmons guy. He says, by the way, Simmons was the worst rookie last week. The worst! Dude was picked on. The only time he was safe was on the bench. Yeah, I didn't get to see that. I watched the end of that game because it was on. I was watching Red Zone.
Yeah,
and I saw Kyler Murray had 100 yards rushing until he downed the ball at the end of the game. So Kyler Murray had 100 yards on the ground.
He played a hell of a game.
Yeah, Kyler's good. Kyler's going to be a star. That's why it'll be very interesting with the Redskins, the Washington football team, and Arizona because they got a good pass rush, but Kyler can move. Kyler's not Wentz.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Cruzon though, man. He
nails it.
He was Team Molly with me all the way. He was Team Molly with me all the way. He did not like Simmons. I did like Simmons. I didn't want him with the Giants, but I did think he was good. He's still, it's one game. I still think he's going to be a good player. But shout out to Cruzon, man. He was Team Molly.
He was also Team Lamar Jackson.
He was Team Lamar Jackson. He was.
And he
liked Daniel Jones. I remember that. He liked Daniel
Jones. Team Eli, though.
He was not. He hated Eli.
He did not like Eli.
Yeah.
Chryslos, how much does NFL Red Zone cost? It costs nothing. I have Verizon. It comes in the package I have. So, my Time Warner Cable or Spectrum, whatever the hell it's called now, it was like $14.99 a month for the sports package, which included a bunch of other things, but it comes free with Fios. So I don't know. It depends on your cable provider. Extreme K, thank you for the super chat. Really. Bear down. He says Bears win 31-20. I don't think the Bears are going to get 31 points. Unless
the Giants turn it over a ton. I don't see their offense just putting up 31. I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it'll be 3 or 4 points either way. That's what I think. It'll be within a field goal, 4 points either way.
I do too. Zach, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says Dak is going to the bench. I will bet money. Well, they do have Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton probably could do better against winning teams than Dak, I would imagine.
I'll tell you what, man. I don't see that happening. But here's what I will say: Dak better hope he doesn't get hurt because let's just say they get off to a 1-3 start, 2-2 start. He goes down. Dalton steps in, wins them a bunch of games. Who's paying Dak? So that put a lot of pressure on Dak this year.
Interesting. Does Wentz stink? I'll be honest with you, Bob. Wentz is starting to make me a doubter because I was very high on Wentz, and I'm thinking Wentz is really good. But the more I watch him, now granted, again, not to make excuses for the guy, that offensive line is obliterated. But Wentz is not doing me any favors for my argument. We'll just put it that way. He turned the ball over. I think he turned it over 3 times. He definitely fumbled twice. I think he lost a fumble through 2 picks.
It was 2 fumbles, I think. Or maybe he fumbled twice.
I know he fumbled twice. I didn't know if he lost.
Oh, maybe he only lost 1. Maybe I'm wrong.
Belly 81, our friend from across the pond, really 5 a.m. over there. And he says, what's up, Baddog and Tainah? What's going on? Good morning to you.
Hope you're enjoying your morning coffee, and thanks for tuning in the stream, my man.
Mavericks country. How can I be the man when you're the man? What's up, fellas? I like what I saw from Daniel Jones Monday. Pocket presence was a lot better. Yeah, Chrono Cowboy, we talked about that. Seemed like he was much more confident in everything that he did. The 2 picks were bad, but he definitely looked a lot more confident, and he definitely had a much better aura about him. Like Chris mentioned earlier, his arm strength looked a lot better. He had a lot of zip on his throws. So
yeah, and listen, man, there's always going to be people from other fan bases that are going to pick on Jones. If you watch that game and you're being completely unbiased, you cannot tell me that you didn't see a guy that could be a very good quarterback in this league. He made a lot of plays. He looked better. Like I said, I've never seen him better. That's the best I've seen him outside of the again, I don't put too much on the Watt play. The second one's on him all the way. But outside of that one play for me, he looked Really good.
Yeah.
Really
Kyler
good.
Murray's nasty, man. Yeah, I loved Kyler. I mean, you guys go back to before the draft. I was talking about the Giants got to get Kyler. Kyler's going to be a star. I was all about Kyler Murray. I mean, I'm a Sooner guy, so I know all about Kyler Murray. You can ask anybody. I'm extremely, extremely high on Kyler Murray. I thought he was the best quarterback in the draft. I didn't think it was close. And like I said, I picked him as my dark horse MVP this year. I have that much faith. And DeAndre Hopkins balled out. He had 14 catches for 151 yards. So you add a receiver like that to Kyler Murray's skill set.
Listen, man, I'm going to give Kyler props. He looked ridiculous week 1. So we'll see if he can keep that up. He looked really good.
That was against the Niners. That was not against the Bengals. That was against the defending NFC champions.
Yeah, no, he looked really good week 1. Really good.
Cruz on, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Says Daniel Jones is better than Allen, Darnold, Baker, and Jones. I don't know which Jones he's talking about. Which Jones is that? And yes, Petty when it comes to Simmons, dude will suck.
Maybe he meant Rosen instead of Jones because that's the same draft class.
Definitely better than Allen, Darnold, and yeah, I'm gonna say Baker.
I think he is.
Yeah, Cruz on. You didn't need a super chat again, man. But I appreciate it. Brilly, my man. He says, and Haskins not Jones.
Oh, Haskins.
Way
Yeah.
better than Haskins. I mean,
I like him a lot better than Haskins. At least right now, I'll say that. Listen, Jones is gonna be a really good quarterback. Really good quarterback.
I think so too. Danny Lukenheimer. Oh, I didn't say Wentz sucked. I don't think Wentz sucks. I'm just saying the way Wentz is playing lately is not doing anything for my argument that I say that he's like near the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Because I have always said Wentz is really close to being an elite quarterback. Like I have that much confidence in him. But the more and more I watch him, the more and more I kind of see a guy that just isn't ever coming close to that 2017 form.
Well, last year I was impressed with him last year with all the injuries that they had, and he still had a good year. He carried that team last year, but week 1, top 5 quarterbacks, I'm not putting him there. I mean, you got obviously Mahomes, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Russell Wilson. I put Wilson 2, and Jackson 3.
Breeze.
I personally got Rodgers 4, but Breeze is up there. You got Watson is up there.
Yeah, like I said, I think Wentz was scraping that. I probably would have had him 6th or 7th best overall, but he turns it over. I mean, I don't know. I mean, every time I think Wentz is going bad, then he does really good. It's kind of like the Eagles. Every time I think the Eagles are out of it, they come back and they probably win games they shouldn't win. So I don't know. I still believe in. I still think Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in this division, but he certainly needs to step it up. He has to step it up.
Well, he better not. I don't want him to step it up. Keep going.
No, I know, but I'm saying if I'm going to be one of the best, he's got to step it up. No, I'd like to see him step back, fall down, fumble, throw some picks, stink. I would like to see him suck. I would like to see him be Sam Darnold. I would like to see him be that guy. So it is, it is what it is. Chislo, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. My prediction: Danny 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Saquon 1 touchdown. I'll take that all day.
Oh, yeah. That happens. We got 28 points right there. We're beating the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you telling me Carson is not the MVP and the Eagles aren't going 12-4? I am telling you that, Russell. That is not happening.
Who asked about that?
Russell Webster. I think he's joking around. Eagle fans say, they're not good. Like I said, I don't think there was one team in this division winning 10 games. I said that at the beginning of the year. I stand by that.
I was looking at the Eagles' schedule again today. I found it hard to find 9 wins. I found it very difficult to find 9 wins.
The Cowboys, to me, it's hard to find 9 wins there.
I could see 10 with them
against this division.
Yeah, I could see 10 with the Cowboys, but because I think the Eagles' schedule is much more difficult with those 2 extra games with the Saints and the Packers. But if the Cowboys lose this week, I agree with you. I think 9 wins tops. So we'll see.
The Packers did win the division last year. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Cowboys get the Falcons instead. But
yeah,
if the Cowboys lose this week, I mean, they're in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll go for like another 10 minutes, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. We still got 400 people in the chat. So, again, I mean, thank you all so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Of course, discussing last week's loss and, looking forward to the Bears and now taking your questions. So, thank you guys for being here. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. It does help out the stream a lot. It's free. Just click on that thing.
It's free, guys. Come on.
You guys hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. More importantly, Go into that description, the link to the Entertainment Talkin' Sports channel's there. Click on that, sub them up. We'll be over there next week as we do this show and the game over there. Of course, the game this week against the Bears will be on this channel with the Entertainer. So I hope you guys will subscribe to all of us. Make sure you ring the bell notification so you know we're live. And, of course, thank you for all the support on this show. It has been unbelievable watching it grow. Really appreciate it. Like I said, one of these days when the Giants are good, we'll have 1,000 people in here every show. It'll be nice.
How in trouble will be one game out, Max? I mean, yeah, I guess you're not in trouble in terms of your playoff. Well, you don't know if the Redskins are going to win. You're just assuming that they're going to lose. But, yeah, I mean, you'll still be in the race. But
the reason
go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say the reason I say they're in trouble is because that's a winnable game. Just like the Rams.
That would be their second winnable game.
You can't lose to the Falcons when you're going to have teams like the Steelers and the Ravens and the Niners and the Seahawks. Not the Falcons. That's why
the Cardinals, the way they look. Cardinals.
That's why I say they're in trouble, because to me they should. I would pick the Cowboys to beat the Rams, and I definitely think that they're better than the Falcons. So you can't lose the teams you're better than. The Rams. Again, they're a decent team, but I still think on paper the Cowboys are better, and I definitely think the Cowboys are better than the Falcons. I don't think that's close. So to me, you can't lose, especially with how tough the schedules are. You can't lose to the Falcons. I
think it's more so you're talking about trouble in the sense that they're not going to be the team that people thought they were.
Exactly.
If they end, you might not be trouble in terms of making the playoffs because the NFC East is that weak, but in terms of being a team that people were saying top 3 in the NFC, top 4 in the NFC. Don't look like that if you lose this week. Yeah, starting 0-2 against the Rams and the Falcons.
Sports expert, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Really appreciate him, man. He says, Will's never played left tackle in his life until last Sunday. So he struggled a bit Sunday. It's fine. He's going to be really good. He had a great night. But again, played the Bengals.
I think Will's going to be good. You're not going to get us to say we think he's going to be bad. We were completely fine with him being a New York Giant. So
absolutely.
You don't need to defend the guy. We like him. We think he's going to be good. So
you played the Bengals.
Yeah. Don't get too hyped up about the Bengals.
Bengals won 2 games last year.
Yeah, and they got no defense. So
who is their pass rusher?
Nobody of significance.
So when you play the Redskins or the Washington football team, then you'll know.
Yeah.
Then you'll know. Yeah. I mean, again, I wanted Jedrick Wills. He was my first pick. I didn't think Thomas was coming here. But I definitely was. I said Wills and Thomas were 1 and 1A, and I would have been just as happy if we drafted Jedrick Wills. I liked Jedrick Wills a lot.
Yeah.
All those, and I liked him and Andrew Thomas because both of them came into the SEC, and that's the best defensive conference in football. So I like that a lot. So
I'm happy with either one.
Yeah. Nuggets in 7. Not in this series.
I think the Nuggets take it to 6. Lakers win, but I think the Nuggets win 2 games.
Yeah, I can see them winning 2 games.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Lakers will put them away in 5. That seems to be the.
I just don't see the Lakers losing. I can't see them losing anybody in the East. I tell you what, though, the Heat who would have thought the freaking Heat would be 2 games away from going to the NBA Finals at the start of the year? Eric Spoelstra is an unbelievable coach.
I'll tell you what, I said 3 teams are coming out of the East, either the Raptors, the Celtics, or the Bucks, and the Celtics may come out of there, but I definitely didn't have the Heat even close. So
who would have thought? I never thought they'd make the playoffs this year, and if they did, maybe as an 8 seed.
Right. The biggest thing to me, and this is why I've been saying the Lakers are going to win this whole thing, as I told you off camera, there's nobody left that can guard Anthony Davis. They can't guard AD. Nobody can guard AD. There's not one guy, and there's no guy that can guard LeBron. So you have 2 guys that nobody can guard.
Yeah.
That's tough. And
the
Lakers play a 5 and a 6-man bench. They go deeper than anybody else in the playoffs. And over the course of a series, you start to wear down. You saw the Blazers and the Rockets get tired by the end of that series. That's what's going to happen. You don't go deeper into the bench, you're in trouble. The Lakers play a 5-man bench. So there's
no excuses for the Lakers not to win.
They got to win. And LeBron, I mean, his legacy's on the line here. You got Anthony Davis. You pined for him to come over here. They traded away half their team and some picks. They traded away Brandon Ingram, who's a really, really good player. And a lot of people said they should have got rid of Kuzma instead.
Lonzo Ball.
Right, Lonzo Ball. So the Lakers have to. LeBron's got to do it. I just think they will. And I've streamed these guys all year. I've watched 80 Laker games this year. So I know that team pretty well. And, I even watched them. I probably watched 60 Knicks games, and they were disgraceful every time. So I know what they are too. Zach, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. My high school play, Michael. Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. has been really good. I mean, he's at
Don't even bring that name up. The Knicks drafted Kevin Knox over Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, he's had a really good year. A really good playoffs too. Yeah, I like the Nuggets. Listen, I said the Nuggets were my deep sleeper in the West before this thing even started. I said that in the middle of the year that I thought they were a deep sleeper. I like their team. I love Jamal Murray. I mean, he's one of my favorite guys. Jokic, obviously. I mean, they got good players. I just don't think they can beat the Lakers. I think the Lakers are too deep. I thought the Lakers would beat the Clippers too. I didn't think anybody was beating the Lakers. So we'll see what happens.
Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a runaway like a lot of people think. I think Nuggets put up a fight, but Lakers win.
Yeah. Triple J, thank you for the super chat. Really says people in the chat saying LA scared of the Nuggets. Lakers aren't scared of anybody. Why would they be scared of the Nuggets? Why would they be scared of them? I can tell you this. I give the Nuggets credit. They fought back from 3-1 in each one of those series. And the last 3 games, the Clippers had, a 15, 16-point lead at least in each one of them, and they fought back to win. Clippers are chokers. Paul George is a choker, and that's the way it always will be, just like Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Neither one of those guys can ever get out of the Western Conference or the semifinals, wherever they are. Kawhi Leonard did not play well.
Clippers choked. To me, the Clippers had the best team. I think the Lakers had the 2 best play. Well, Leonard's probably better than AD, but I thought the Clippers total team on paper going into the playoffs had the best team. I thought the Lakers would beat them because of LeBron and AD, but there are no excuses for the Clippers not to get to the Western Conference Finals. They choked.
Paul George is not going to play. He had a terrible playoff. And he's not good. Lapdance Lou wasn't great either. And, like I said, it is what it is. I think that the Clippers shrank up a little bit, and I think they got a little full of themselves, and they got surprised. It happens.
Yeah.
And you can't. And I saw that with the Lakers. The Lakers had big leads the last 3 games against Houston, and Houston made not the last game. The Lakers blew them the hell out. But, a couple other games, the Lakers were up by 20 late in the game, and they cut it to 5. So you can get complacent with a big lead. And the next thing you know, guys hit a couple threes, get a couple stops, right back in the game. The NBA's changed. Teams don't use 24-second. They're not going through the post.
It's the European style now.
It is. So leads can evaporate quickly, and the Clippers found that out firsthand. Sports X, thank you for the super chat. Really. He says in the chat, who wins week 3, the Browns or Washington? I'm going to go Washington.
I got to see Washington play this week. Like I said, I don't have a full grasp on their pass rush yet because of how banged up that Eagles front line was, but I hope the Browns, Washington being in our division. I don't know, though. Washington's got a really good defense. I do not trust Baker Mayfield in that offense. But
I could see Baker throwing 3 picks in that game.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope the Browns win that game.
I do, too. I mean, I'm definitely rooting for the Browns against Washington, Philadelphia, and Dallas.
Yeah.
Beat them all.
Beat them all.
Mow them over. Baker Mayfield had the best game of your life. Odell Beckham, take a dump on them and yourself. I don't really care. Just win those games. Just win those games.
Jokic will outplay AD. Book it.
Just people hate on Lakers. That's part of it, too. People hate.
Jokic is really good.
Jokic is good. He's not going to outplay Anthony Davis.
He's not guarding him.
Anthony Davis averages over 30 points per game in his NBA playoff career. The guy's no joke. He's got one of the best mid-range jump shots in the league. He can run the point.
He's got handles like a point guard. He's 6'11".
Yeah, he can. He can shoot the 3. Jokic is a nice player, but there's no way he could ever guard AD. He's too slow. And
didn't AD, if I remember correctly, have like a 10-inch growth spurt when he was like 17 or 16? Because that's why his point guard skills are so good, because he was like 6'1", 6'2" when he was like a junior in high school. Yeah. And then he was 7 foot overnight.
Yeah. Simon says, I wanted the Giants to take Michael Pittman in the draft, but after seeing him play against the Jags last week, I didn't see a lot of football last week, honestly. I watched the Giants. I watched Dallas and I watched Philadelphia. That was really it. I didn't watch any other games. Like I said, I saw the end of the Niners and the Cardinals. Then I watched the Giants. I didn't watch the game after that. So, I don't watch a lot of football because, again, I don't bet on it and I don't play fantasy football. So I really just Don't have interest. I only put that other game on because it was the last thing left.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. CJ Anderson locked. Yeah, I heard CJ Anderson played a really good game.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is where he needs to be, and he played well first game. Cam Newton played really well first game, Flex. He had 70 yards on the ground. He did play the Dolphins, but yeah, I think Cam Newton's gonna have a good year. I don't know how well he'll do statistics. Put it this way, I think Cam Newton's gonna win games this year, and that's what the Patriots are about. They're gonna win at least 9 games, at least. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the Patriots this week. They're playing the Seahawks in Seattle. Really tough game, but if they play them tough, then I'm going to really believe in the Patriots to possibly win the AFC East this year.
Zach Schmidt, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for swinging by. Appreciate it. Bada Boom's in the house. Marjorie says there's a brawl in the stands in Cleveland so much for social distancing. Yeah, how do you even get in a fight in a Bengals-Browns game? Like, who cares? Like, it's so bad. Like, does anybody even care about the state of Ohio? I mean, really. And I've been to Cleveland. Like, it's one of the worst cities I've ever been to in my life. I'm not even trying to knock. It's just a bad city.
Why did you go to Cleveland? You went to the Hall of Fame?
No, I went to one of the National Card Show convention was there.
Oh.
Went to Progressive Field. That was nice. But I remember we got dropped off by like a train. Train drops you off in the middle of a freaking mall. You had to walk through the mall, down a bunch of steps to get. I'm like, what is this? Then you go to the Horseshoe, or I don't know if it was I think it was a Horseshoe Casino over there, and the casino sucked. The only good thing about Cleveland I liked was the Harry Buffalo. It was a good restaurant.
Harry Buffalo?
Harry Buffalo. That was a good restaurant. It was a good restaurant. Harry Buffalo was good. They had $6 pitchers of Yingling. So I think we drank like 18 pitchers or something. The 8 of us, or 6 of us, whatever the hell it was. There was a lot of beer then. I might have been 20. I don't remember. It was a lot.
Sounds like a good night.
It was a good night. Rudy T, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. We're gonna wrap it up, guys, here in a couple minutes. He says, busy at work, just wanted to show my respects. You're the man, Rudy. Rudy. Thank you for the super chat, brother.
Yeah, Rudy's awesome, man. Always supports us, man. Rudy, by the way, I meant to ask you on my stream today when I saw you. I forgot. Did you get the hat? I know I sent you a hat like a week ago. Did you get the hat? Now that we have a no-nonsense head coach, how would you feel if we signed Antonio Brown? It's not going to happen.
No.
For the same reason that we have a no-nonsense coach. He doesn't want players like that. He's not looking to bring in players like that. We're not I'll never say never, but I would be shocked if the Giants brought in a player like that.
Yeah, Finese, I saw the Islanders lost. I had it on. I wasn't in the stream. I had the show in the night. I know that I've been very lucky for the Islanders. Anytime I popped in a hot take hockey stream or an Isles girl stream, they always won. I told her last night. I said I can be there early in the game, but I can't be there. I guess just it was this. I wish they would have won. I had the game on. That was the best I could do. It's a heartbreaking loss, but.
What
in a good year? I mean, nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, no, Great Wood. I think somebody's going to give made an Instagram post. Oh, Rudy, I'll definitely check the feed. Sorry, man. Yeah, I didn't. I'll check the feed after, Rudy, man. Also, yeah, I haven't been on Instagram in a couple of days. Great Wood says, who once said somebody's going to give Antonio Brown a shot? I guarantee it. It probably won't be this year. Somebody's going to give him a shot. You watch. Somebody will give him a shot.
Yeah. Do you think Giannis is leaving the Bucks? I do think he's leaving the Bucks. And I wish he would go to the Knicks.
Ain't gonna happen, but we could hope, we could pray.
They're talking about trading Julius Randle. I don't want Chris Paul here, by the way. I was watching Knicks Fan TV, who I swear to God is the best basketball channel on the face.
He's ridiculous. Yeah.
But they was talking about the Knicks getting rid of guys and giving up draft picks for Chris Paul. I'm like, let's not do that.
I don't want to give up draft picks. If
it was not enough, getting these over the hill players and giving up draft picks. Let's not.
Yeah. If it was a clean swap, Randall for Paul, that's fine.
Yeah, then I could get on board with that.
But I'm not giving up draft picks. Screw that.
I don't know. What if Giannis went to Golden State? Well, we'll see where he goes. I don't know. That was fun last year. All the free agent signings from the NBA.
This year it's gonna be. There's nobody of significant. Draymond Green's, I think, a free agent. There's nobody like huge this year.
Right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's almost 12:15. So again, I just want to say, thank you all so much for being here. Always appreciated. We had, about 450 people in here the entire night. We still got 365 people in here. So, again, thank you so much. Really appreciate all your input as always. Great questions as always. And again, this show's nothing without you guys and girls. So we really appreciate you being here, supporting this show. We do it every single week. We alternate channels. So again, if you haven't subbed up the Entertainment Talking Sports, link to his channel is in the description. If you haven't subbed up this channel, why not? Sub it up. That way you can watch us call the game together. We also do that every week, alternate channels as well. So you get to watch our reactions to good and bad plays for the Giants. And usually they're worth the price of admission. That's all I'm going to say. But really appreciate you guys and girls being here. And again, great questions as always. So, Chris, got anything to add?
Yeah, no, as always, guys. First off, thank you, like Baddog was saying earlier, for blowing up the stream last week. We had 57,000 views. We had, I think, 2,200 people in there at one point. You guys are incredible. You guys continue to support both of our channels. Can never say thank you enough for everything that you do. Whoever you root for, you guys are always here, always watching the streams, always watching the videos. Whether you agree with us or not, you always give us your opinion, and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
That's what sports is all about. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys, everything that you do for us. And let's get a win. I think we're going to beat the Bears this week. I think we get to 1-1. Let's get out there. Let's find a way to get a win, and let's get to 1-1. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, Chris, I always appreciate you coming on the channel and doing this. I say it all the time. It's my favorite thing I do on YouTube. I love being able to talk Giants with you and like I said, everybody in the chat. At the end of the day, we're not always going to agree on what is best for the Giants, but we all want what's best for the Giants. So that's really all that matters. And I'm telling you, it's going to turn around eventually. Like I said, there was a different aura about this team. They ended up with a loss, but I don't know. I feel like by the end of the year, you're really going to – I really think this team's going to turn a corner at some point. And when they get a couple more players, you're going to start to see them take off. Chris and I both said 2021 is our year. So let's just get some wins. Let's get some wins early. Let's change the culture in here. Let's at least compete for a playoffs. I mean, if we could somehow get to 7-9 and compete, be close, sneak out a win against maybe a team like the Rams or maybe a team like the Bucks.
Yeah.
We'll see, and maybe
a couple of signature wins early on, give you a little bit of confidence, close out the season on a high note, and just compete against these tough teams. The Ravens were not expecting wins, but compete against these tough teams, play good fundamental football, and give us some hope going forward, 2021, 2022, where I think we'll be able to really make a move.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for tonight's show. Again, guys and girls, one last time, hit that thumbs up if you have not. Hit the subscribe button. Go into the description. Sub up the Entertainment Talking Sports. And make sure you guys come over to the channel on Sunday. We'll be live.
I come here tomorrow night for the Lakers.
That's right, of course. I'll be live for the Lakers tomorrow night. You don't want to miss that. First game of the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets. But Sunday about 12:45, we'll be live about 15 minutes before the Bears and Giants. Hope you guys and girls will show up for that. And again, tell your friends. And why not? Share the stream out. Let people know that you know. So come watch these two insane Italian guys call the game. It's always a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. For the Entertainment Talking Sports, the Bad Diggity Dizzle, enjoy your Friday tomorrow. And we are gone. Peace!